To Mexia Sports Network. Tonight's game is brought to you by Greer Time Media, Posey Napa Auto Part, Greer and Greer Mobile Detail, Mookie's Mesquite Patch Barbecue, Woodman Life Insurance, and Joe Fridays.
As we come to you for some Black Cat football playoff style, this is Jeremy Sunday with Greer Media Time. We are at Cedar Hill Longhorn Field up in Cedar Hill, Texas, and we're getting ready for the Mexia Black Cats versus the Bullard Panthers here at Cedar Hill Stadium. It's a very nice venue. The wind is not blowing at all. And we just want to thank you for coming on and listening to us. We want to thank our sponsors, Greer Time Media, Greer Time Mobile Detail, Mookie's Barbecue, Napa Auto Parts, Joe Fridays, which is we've been bringing all the coaches shows and player shows from and predictions on Wednesdays. And Wallace High will be joining me here in just a little bit. But for right now, it's just going to be me and Freddie, mostly me talking to you about stuff going on in the area. Right now, last night we had some area teams that were knocked out as Tig got knocked out last night. Wortham got knocked out last night by Lovelady. Tig got beat by Troy last night. So our area teams that are playing are dwindling. Conley was able to pull away last night and win 42-21 over Canton. La Vega won big, 72-0. And, of course, Mart won 81-14 over West Hardin. So here at Black Cat Field tonight, the weather's great for some playoff football. Bullard is on the home side. Mexia's on the visitor side. The way we're looking here is going to be east to west, and we're going to have the right side's north to south. Right side's the north side, south side's the left side. No, do not take. And so, but the crowds are starting to show up. I'm sure the Mexia crowd got caught in traffic on 287, and they are slow to getting here, but slowly but surely it looks like a few people are showing up. The field is really nice as they have Cedar Hill in the south side, and they have Longhorns in the north side on their end zones. And we're up here in the top of the press box with we have KNES to one side, and we have some stat takers, and the Cats are media. They're little young ladies that videotape the game for the coaches to watch throughout the week is here. And we're just about 17 minutes and 40 seconds away from the start of kickoff. I'm going to go over some games that are going on tonight. Where's my phone? So here we go, able to pull this up as I got my two little ones with me again tonight for some playoff football. And, you know, these kids these days, they got to have daddy's phone as soon as I get here. But tonight, Evadale is playing Dawson. Chinadale and Kennedale has kicked it off, and they're both 7-7. As those are some of the scores I told you last night. Bullard is playing Mexia here. Salado is playing Rusk. Willis Point's playing Fairfield. West is playing Cameron Yo. Rockdale's playing Grandview. Lago Vista will be playing Whitney. Castleberry will be playing Brownwood. And Milford will be playing Union Hill. So that'll be some of the games that we keep up the tabs on the score tonight. As we talk a little bit about district, Mexia was picked to come in last in district, and as Mexia had got the year going, you could tell that they were a little bit stronger than what most people thought was going on. And the only losses Mexia has this year have been to 3 top 10 teams that have a combined 2 losses between them. So Mexia has not played any easy teams to speak of this year, and their only losses were to 3 teams that were ranked in the top 10 right now. In the district that Mexia played in, which we had Robinson, Lorena, Conley, Mexia, Fairfield, Madisonville, and Salado. Well, of those 7 teams, at one point or another this year, 5 of those teams were ranked in the top 10. As Fairfield was number 9 when Mexia went into Fairfield and was able to just turn the tables on Fairfield and annihilate them over there. Robinson was in the top 10 at one time this year. Lorena was in the top 10 at one time. Neither one of them was able to make the playoffs, but 4th or 5th week into it, both of those were in the top 10. And, of course, Conley has been in the top 1 or 2 all year long. And now here toward the end of the year, Mexia's risen into the top 10. So this district that Mexia has played in has been an awful tough district. Salado and Fairfield are playing tonight, and with Mexia, and Conley has already advanced. Looking at these other games we had went over, it looked like Fairfield had a really good chance of going ahead and moving forward, and Salado as well. So what we're hoping for in our area tonight is Salado going ahead and moving forward, Fairfield moving forward, and Mexia moving forward. So our 4 playoff teams that were in our really strict and tough district are going to be able to move to the second round tonight. And all 4 will be playing next week is what we're hoping for. But as we sit here and get everything ready, we're going to go to a sponsor break, and we'll be right back here at Cedar Hill Longhorn Field to bring you some Black Cat playoff football. From Wallace High and Jeremy Sunday, thank you to our sponsors, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
You're listening to Mexia Sports Network. Tonight's game is brought to you by Greer Time Media, Posey Napa Auto Part, Greer and Greer Mobile Detail, Mookie's Mesquite Patch Barbecue, Woodman Life Insurance, and Joe Fridays.
Listening to Black Cat Football and Greer Time Media. Let's take it to the booth with your host, Freddie Greer Sr.
As we come back to Longhorn Field here in Cedar Hill, Texas, Wallace is joining me here. And Wallace, while you were out taking care of some business, we were talking, and I was just going on about how strong this district ended up being so far this year for the Mexia and Fairfield, Salado, and Conley, how 5 of the 7 teams were ranked in the top 10 at one point or another.
Right. And I was actually talking about that the other day as well. With the exception of Madisonville, I really believe they're the only ones that
Salado.
Yeah, Salado got up as high as I believe 12, but they never got in the top 10. But of the 6 of the 7 teams were all in the top 12 at some point during the season, and that's a really strong showing. Even with Conley, being ranked number 1 at one point in the season, they're sitting at number 2. They were actually able to go over and get a victory last night over Canton Eagles team that had gotten 4th place over in that district, and they met up in Corsicana and played. Conley got a pretty smooth victory out of that one, and so they're going to be awaiting their next opponent to play next week. And, Mexia showed up here in Cedar Hill to play Bullard, as well as Salado will have a matchup tonight and against Rusk. And then
Willis Point and Fairfield.
Willis Point and Fairfield are getting ready to tee off as well tonight.
It would be nice to see all 4 teams advance to a second round of district.
And, with the district as strong as we had, I don't think that's, a far-fetched idea that we may see all 4 teams be able to advance. But, you got to take care of the game that you're playing right now on the field. And for Mexia, they're going to have to make sure they get out and take care of the Bullard Panthers tonight.
Well, as we had talked at our coaches show this week, and I'm hoping y'all are watching those on Mexia Sports Network that we're having on Wednesday night at Joe Fridays. Want to thank them for allowing us to be up there. But the biggest thing that we've taken the last 3 weeks, Wallace, is every coach we have up there, every Black Cat football player we have up there, all they talk about is 1-0. That's all we want to do this week.
Go 1-0 this week, and that's a great mindset and mantra each week for the team. And right now the guys are really buying into it. You can't worry about anything, especially in the playoffs. Can't worry about next week because you got to get through this week first. So you have to win this week and go 1-0. And I've talked to several of the guys this week, and that's what their mind is set on. It's not looking ahead at anything. It's worrying about playing Bullard tonight.
Well, the one thing I will tell you is we grew up in what you call Black Cat cult football. That's all anybody talked about. And I think that had kind of disappeared for a little while, but I think this year this group of cats has brought that mentality back. And if you ask a coach something and you turn around and ask a player something, they're going to give you pretty much the same answer and the same mantra.
Yeah, and, we talked about it throughout the week of how they're really set and they play as a family. They really see each other as brothers, and they play for each other that way. And so when you do that, you keep yourself really close and close-knit and on one accord and one page, and that's what we've seen this year out of the Black Cats. They've been able to stay on one page with each other and keep going. And
we are coming out with the white helmets, with the white shirts, and the black pants tonight, looking really sharp.
Yeah, that's been another thing we get to do in pregame is we get to guess which uniform combination they're going to come out in this week. And, I like the white on black. It looks real crisp, real clean. So, the Black Cats are coming out to get themselves warmed up as we have a little less than 9 minutes left before game time. Just looking around, Jeremy, I know we still have some Black Cat fans on their way. Getting down 287 wasn't an easy task tonight, and I'm sure some of them are still stuck in that traffic trying to get here, and they'll be pulling up as soon as they're able to get through that and get here.
I think those 50 that are over there, we met earlier at a tailgating that we had here in Cedar Hill. It was a big following for It was good to see Black Cat parents. We had a little tailgating at one of the coaches' families' houses, and there was a lot of fans that showed up over there, and that's just more outcry of these kids, how much they've grabbed everybody's hearts in Mexia. And I actually seen some parents and some adults that didn't have kids playing that had come to watch them, that just was excited to go see these kids play tonight.
Right, and I see our bands just now getting in the stands. I see another bus pulling up. So our fans are slowly trickling in. I'm going to hope that maybe they can get here before kickoff in about 7.5 minutes. If not, I'm sure they'll be rolling in as the game gets started. But looking down on the field, there's not many more Bullard people here yet either, so they may have caught some of that traffic as well.
Well, I know one thing. It's the end of summer here in the state of Texas, but there's two things that are going to happen in the state of Texas. When the weather warms up in April and May, everybody's going to love that it's summertime, but then if you travel, you're going to know it's construction time as well.
Right.
And it seems like it just goes on forever. And if you do any kind of traveling to Waco right now, you know if you can't go 84, you loop around 6. You can't go 6.
You can't go 35.
You can't go Waco Drive. If you try to go Lakeshore, you're going to hit some. So you've got to really know what patches to pick, because everywhere you go, you seem to see orange cones and a man with an orange flag telling you stop.
Right.
And
you know, we were going the opposite way today, and I was like, I know the last time I came through was a little more, it was clearer coming down 287, and I told somebody, I said, yeah, the last time I came down 287, there wasn't so much traffic or construction. Well, we got on 287 tonight, and those orange flags were out, and we saw the lights flashing, slowing everybody down. So.
Well, as you can tell, we have more players on the sideline over there, so they've added some JV, and that's, you know, something I asked some of the coaches this past week about was this really important? And they said for our younger guys, yes, this is really important for them to be getting the reps in practice, to be learning what it's like to be on a Black Cat football field as a varsity player. That, you know, they run scout a lot, but they don't a lot of times realize how important they are.
Right. You know, and a lot of those, you know, as a JV player, some of the freshman guys that are moving up, some of those guys will end up playing varsity football next year. So each week they're able to get an extra playoff week of action. It gives them that much more experience, that many more reps, and gets them prepared going into the spring and into the next season. But as we're talking, the captains are meeting with the officials at midfield for the coin flip.
Well, I can tell you we're going to have a tough time tonight, Wallace, looking at this, because I can see the Black Cat numbers, but I absolutely cannot see poor Bullard's numbers.
It looks like a dark gray with blue numbers and letters, and I'm like you, Jeremy.
This will be a position call tonight for the numbers, because there's no way that me at 42 years old is going to be able to see those numbers.
Yeah, and I'm not sure anybody up here with us is going to be able to make them out too good unless you have a pair of binoculars. But, you know, we'll get the plays in and the numbers and the players to you as best as we can. For the Black Hats, though, coming out as captains, we have Dawson Scott, J.R. Deichler, Travion Cooper, and we're being shielded from the fourth captain right now as Bullard's team is coming through their tunnel.
Bullard has won the toss.
And they're going to choose to defer.
So the Black Cats will start the game off with the ball, as Bullard has run onto the field. And, you know, Wallace, even with those players a little bit closer up here, it's still tough to see those numbers even on their sideline.
Yeah, I mean, they're a lot closer than at midfield right here, and it's just tough. You got to try to make out the blue outline.
So Mexia will receive the ball and be receiving from the north end?
Yeah, so Bullard will be kicking from our right to our left, which will be south to north.
As Mexia runs down. Looky here, we got a sign, Wallace. We haven't had a sign in a while, but we had a sign for the playoffs.
And the fourth captain was Jaden Proctor out at midfield. You know, we had the inflatable cat up, and then it looks like they decided to move it out of the way and put the sign up for the
and before
Black
we
Cats
could even read what it said,
they
were
are
so
already
shocked
through
there was a sign, it was over.
So right now we're going to get ready to line it up, and we'll have the National Anthem played here in just a second. Looking out on the field, the teams are lining up on the sideline, preparing for it. Bullard's cheer squad is lined up on the field, or dance team. My apologies, their dance team is lined out. You know, it's time, you know, like we say every week, Jeremy and Freddie, it's about time for some Black Hat football. And
goosebumps are fisting to come with the playing of the National Anthem.
Yeah, you know, and we're going to take a pause as the anthem is about to begin, and we'll let you enjoy it with everyone else.
Wallace, I don't think it ever gets old, Bubba. Right before a football game, hearing that national anthem puts goosebumps on the back of your neck, up and down your spine, and you know now you hook that helmet on and it's time to go hit somebody.
Yeah, and we talk about it each week, Jeremy, how it's how when we look down at the sidelines of both teams, this might be one of the first weeks where we look down there and they have some big guys over on Bullard's sideline, but they're not as big as a lot of the teams that we faced this season. It might be the first time that we come out and we feel like the Black Cats may have a little size advantage this season. So, but no matter how big, the old saying goes, it's not how big the fight is in the dog, or the dog is in the fight, but how big the fight is in the dog.
By the way, our coach lines up on the kickoff. It looks like maybe Bullard might be trying an onside kick to start the game off with.
Yeah, I'm sure they watched a lot of film on Bullard. They've seen some of the things that they try to do on each play and on each kickoff. And as they break out wide, the Black Cats drop back a little bit deeper into conventional kick return depth. They're going to have Holman and
that was Proctor and Holman back.
And Holman's going to receive it.
He goes across the left side of the field.
He slowed up and brought down about the 23-yard line.
As he was trying to make it around to that left side, he had a wall set up, but one man grabbed his shirt, and there was no chance of breaking away on that.
Yeah, they had the wall set over there, but he wasn't able to quite able to get over there to the wall that time. Bullard actually did a pretty good job of getting down and covering that kick.
Talking about that size, as our line walks up and looks across Bullard, they're like, hold on, wait a minute. We're used to usually the small dogs. What's going on here?
But one thing when you see small guys, they're
going to come out in a 3-4-4.
Yeah, Proctor and Wiley in the backfield. It was a high snap.
Proctor keeps it. He's running out here to the right side. And he's going to pick up about 5 yards on that, Wallace.
Maybe. Looks like they're going to give him about 8 on it.
As he was just able to outrun everybody to the sideline there.
Yeah, that snap was high, so it didn't give him a chance to really put it down into the running back's belly, so he just pulled it down and took off around the right edge.
So what we have as starters right here on the offense is Clark is out down here to the bottom. We have
Holman to the top and Hullum to the top.
And we have Evan Harrison as the H-back. Wiley is a running back. And Proctor's your starting quarterback. And hand off to Wiley, and he's just going to run for about 3 yards. Just a hard run like we talk about every week with Wiley.
That should be enough for him to have first down, and it is going to be another Black Cat first down. And that's what you want to do. You want to come out and move the chains and start the game. And, we've talked about it the way the Black Cats have been able to operate this year and coming out and starting to wear on defenses as the game goes. And so we've already seen a couple runs that have got us a first down.
So we're going to hand off to Wiley right here.
He's around the right edge.
He's across the 40.
He's still
50, 45, and out about the 41-yard line is Wiley. He was real close to taking that one, Wallace.
And I think he got it. One of the defenders were able to reach out and slap a leg and kind of knock him off balance. And he tried to get himself upright while he was running. And it just kind of slowed him down enough for another defender to run him out of bounds.
So as Mexia keeps their same offense on, we have Holman and Holman up top, Clark here to the bottom. We have Jacob
Kyle
is the starting right tackle. So we have motion at heaven, and Proctor's going to keep around the end and bust it up the middle.
Oh, he's still on his feet.
You're not going to catch him. He's about the 31-yard line.
It's a pickup of about 11 or 12 yards on that.
It looked like they had him about 3 or 4 times, and the next thing you know, he's made one little juke, and he's out of the grasp, and he's just continuing to run.
And again, on the offensive line for my head, at right guard, we have number 64, James Abraham. We have Brian Luna on the line, as well as Jonathan Hernandez.
And Matthews.
And Matthew Hudson at center.
So it's going to be a handoff to Holman up the middle. It'll be a gain of about a yard, long yard. Bring up a 2nd and 9 for the Black Cats here as Mexia is driving on their first drive of the game. We are 9 minutes and 54 seconds left in the first quarter, and Mexia is the only one that's touched the ball so far, but they're slowly but surely moving down the field, Wallace.
Right, yeah, we're down. The ball's lined up on the Bullard 30 right now.
It'll be a snap
back to Proctor.
And he keeps it up the middle, breaks another tackle out to the left. He's at the 15, 10,
cuts out to the left.
5.
And he's in for a Black Cat touchdown.
So that was a quick hit, as we had talked about the last couple of weeks. Mexia didn't do much in the first quarter and hit quick in the second quarter. Tonight, Mexia got the ball first off the bat, and they said, you know what, we're going to the end zone.
Right, and that time, Proctor had a 30-yard run where he just put it in the belly of Wiley. When everyone flowed to Wiley, he pulled it out and shot through the middle and then just accelerated past everybody with a couple quick cuts to the left and out to the left sideline. He just scooted on into the corner of the end zone without being touched. And Mexia will line up for a field goal here, and it'll be Martinez on to kick it. Snap back, ball's down, kicks up, and it is good.
And as I think Martinez has only missed one on the year, and that was the wind was just blistering that night in Robinson. But that's been his only miss this year. He's pretty much
he's
been automatic for him
on those extra points. And Mexia takes an early 7-0 lead with 9:28 left in the first quarter. So as they get ready to switch fields, we're going to take a break and bring you a word from our sponsors.
Network. Tonight's game is brought to you by Greer Time Media, Posey Napa Auto Park, Greer and Greer Mobile Detail, Mookie's Mesquite Patch Barbecue, Woodman Life Insurance, and
all right, and then we're back here at Longhorn Field in Cedar Hill with more Black Hat football. Mexia's getting ready to tee it off, and they'll be kicking off. They'll be kicking off to the Bullard Panthers here, kicking from our left to right, which will be north to south. It'll be Martinez kicking it off. Mexia was able to hit quick and get a quick strike and a touchdown on their first possession of the game. So the kick will be for Martinez. It's going to be a high bell ringer. It's going to be taken in about the 23-yard line.
And he's going to be wrapped up. No, he's broke loose. He's out about the 42-yard line. Looked like they had him about the 34-yard line, and he was able to break through.
Yeah, he was able to slip off of a tackler and get up to the 42. So Bullard will start their first possession at their own 42-yard line here, which isn't bad field position. Now we'll get to see that Mexia defense that we've talked about so much this year and see how they come out and counter what Bullard's going to try to do on offense.
Well, the names we call every week is McNeil, Medlock, and Dawson is in the backfield every week. So let's see what we can get going on the first play. We've got trips to the top, twins to the bottom, single quarterback in the back. It'll be a snap back and just a quarterback run and he's going to get about 7-8 yards on the first carry.
Yeah, he was able to slip through a couple holes there and rumble forward for about 8.
He was patient there as Mexia jetted up the field, and he just waited for them to get up the field. He picked a couple of holes and went forward with it there. So they come back out with trips to the top and twins to the bottom and just a single quarterback in the backfield. Snap back, and he's going to throw it down here.
And the ball's caught. Oh, and the receiver is pushed out of bounds by B.J. Sunday. That moves the ball up to the Black Cat 43-yard line there. That's enough yardage for a first down.
We're missing Prince Banks tonight as he's been sick all week, and we hope he gets better as we move forward. But Sunday's stepping in for Banks tonight, and he was out there in coverage, and he had really good position, just a really well-thrown ball. So the quarterback's going to take it, and another quarterback run up the middle, and he's going to have enough. They're trying to rip it out.
And he's just still churning his legs and picking up yards. When the Black Cats were trying to pull the ball out, they weren't, and he just kept moving instead of securing the tackle and bringing him down. He was able to pick up another 7 yards on that run.
That's something we haven't seen this year. Is we haven't seen anybody really move the ball on Mexia in the first quarter this year so far. So Bullard's coming out doing a really good job.
It's going to be a snapback, empty backfield again.
Quarterback
looks. Oh, and
he's going to be tackled at the line of scrimmage.
And that's Dawson Scott who wraps him up and brings him down for no gain.
That was really good coverage downfield for the Black Cat secondary. Yeah. We have Frankie Smith out on the left corner with Jaleel Wright's a safety. We have Lamar Miller as a safety and Busby.
J.B. Busby over on the right corner.
And your linebackers are Jabron Busby, Dravion Cooper, B.J. Sunday. And you know who the front line is, as we talk about.
And that time they showed up as they were able to get a good push from the middle guys, and then Scott coming up off the end.
Snap back.
Bullard will be in a tight set.
It's going to be a handoff, and And he's just going to he's going to make it around the right end. And he's going to break loose. He's across the 10-5. He's going to be knocked out about the 5-yard line.
Yeah, and that time he just got outside around the contained man, and then it was him in a foot race trying to get to the end zone, and Mexia was able to get there and force him out of bounds before he could get to the goal line. So it'll be 1st and goal for Bullard at about the 4, just inside the 5. It'll be a long 4 there for Bullard on this first down play.
So Bullard's going to have trips down here to the bottom, one to the top, and a running back to the right of the quarterback here. Snap back, and he's just going to drop back, and he's trying to hit his running back, and he's just going to take off running, and he's just going to run over a Black Cat and get in for a Bullard touchdown.
Yeah, and the quarterback that time was able to just take it and get around the right edge, and he cut inside of the outside backer and put his head down and fell forward for the touchdown as he reached out over the goal line. And they line up. Bullard lines up in a little swinging gate formation. Now they'll go into a traditional extra point field goal set. Mexia runs on their unit for defense. And sorry, y'all, we cannot make out the numbers of the Bullard players that are out there. The snaps back, balls down, kicks up and good.
Strong kick by their kicker.
Yeah.
So now the score is tied 7-7 with 6 minutes and 50 seconds into the first quarter. We're going to go to a sponsor timeout, and we'll be right back to bring you Black Cat playoff football at Cedar Hill.
This game is brought to you by Greer Time Media, Posey Napa Auto Park, Greer and Greer Mobile Detail, Mookie's Mesquite Patch Barbecue, Woodman Life Insurance, and Joe Fridays.
As we come back to Cedar Hill Longhorn Stadium, the Black Cats are getting ready to receive the kickoff from Bullard, scoring and tying the game 7-7 here. As Bullard will be kicking off from right to left, that'd be south to north here.
Oh no, I can't see the numbers down there.
He's got Seattle Seahawk colors on his feet. I know that. So as the Longhorn, or not the Longhorns, the Panthers get ready. They're going to onside kick, and we got a flag, and the ball's going to go out of bounds. So it looks like we'll have an offsides on Bullard.
Yeah, it's right there at the line, right there where the ball's set. So it looks like it'll be offsides. Mexia can take it and at the 5 yards onto the spot of the end of the kick, which
it went out on about the 48-yard line of Mexia, which you had 5 on. That'll put it on the 47 of the Panthers.
Yeah. And we said it, y'all, and I know y'all are here because there's several of us up here in the booth, and we're all trying to make out the numbers of the Bullard players. So we will probably just give you positions because it is very hard for us to tell what those numbers are down there. But
they are nice-looking uniforms, but you can't see numbers.
Right.
And if I had to guess, I'm pretty sure the officials have a hard time down there on the field seeing numbers.
And the officials giving the
everybody's trying to figure out where the ball's going to be put down at.
And now they'll mark off the 5 yards. So Mexia will start their second drive from the Bullard 47-yard line.
So Mejia's going to come out and trips to the top. That's Holman, Hullum, and Harrison, and then Proctor in the backfield with Wiley and Clark down here to the bottom. Snap back, and it's just going to be a straight handoff to Wiley up the middle, and he's going to get about 3 to 4 yards. The one thing talking about the last 2 or 3 weeks, Wallace, we are away from Waco chapter referees. So
now you just kind of get whichever group that the coaches agree on, and I'm not sure where this group is from, but you'll get split backs here for Mexia in the backfield, flanking Proctor, snap back.
Handoff to Watt. No, Proctor keeps it. He breaks up the middle. He's going to have a couple of yards.
Yeah, and so it'll bring up a third and about 6 for Mexia here from the Bullard 44 or 43-yard line.
As Mexia looks over to the coaches to get the play, they come back up to the line of scrimmage. We're going to have Holdman and Wiley on each side of Proctor. We got Clark and Twins to the top here. Snap back, he's going to hand off to Wiley up the middle.
Oh,
and they're going to meet him at the line of scrimmage. It's going to be a loss of a couple of yards for the Black Cats.
Yeah, and that time the linebacker saw the play and met Jarrell Wiley in the hole before he could get started good.
So let's see what Mexia does here. Looks like they might line up and go for it here.
Yeah, you're in that territory where a punt nets you. If it goes in the end zone, it only nets you about 20 yards. So you're too far away to kick a field goal.
Yes, and your punter's not here tonight that normally punts
Right.
for you on most of the time. Now Holm has punted quite a bit, don't get me wrong. But it's going to be a snap back to Proctor. He's going to roll out to the right, and he's going to roll back to the left. And he's going to try to go down the sideline.
Oh, and he breaks to the
he's
left.
40. And he's going to make it 30.
And he's still
20,
running.
25, and he's going to be taken down. So
it's a big gain, and it's going to be enough for a Black Cat first down that time. There you had 4th and about 8 for the Black Cats, and Proctor was able to turn a play that didn't look like there was going to be much there for him. He was able to reverse the field and get to the left sideline and get up it for about a 20-yard gain.
that's the athleticism that you have with Jaden Proctor.
And the ball will be spotted at the Bullard 25-yard line here.
As everybody went to the right with the flow. We have trips to the bottom and twins to the top with Proctor by himself. Snap back. And we're going to have
it's a backwards pass, and Wiley's able to get on it and knock it out.
That's going to be a loss of about 10 yards on my head, maybe 11, trying to be running a little trick play there, and it backfired on them.
It was just a swing pass with the running back already in motion. The ball was just kind of thrown on the line, and Wiley didn't get up to it to catch it. And unfortunately for the Black Cats, it's a big loss on that play.
That's what's hurt the Cats this year is when we've gotten behind the sticks like this is when our drives have stalled. Let's see if we can't have 3 plays to get about 22 yards here.
It'll be 2nd and 22 here for the Black Cats. They're going to come out Holman and Harrison to the bottom.
Jones has
come into the game. He goes out in motion, and Proctor's going to keep it, and he
up the
breaks
middle.
through
He's
the
breaking
middle.
again. He's out to the outside across
And
the
he's
25,
running.
20, 15, 10,
and
and
that's
pulled
a
down
horse
from
collar.
behind.
No flag, but that looked like a clear horse collar from up here. But from what the referee seen, I'm guessing he was outside of the pads. But Proctor was able to pick up enough yardage for the first down, and he moves the ball down to the Bullard 10-yard line on that play.
Well, that's the thing we're seeing in the last couple of weeks, Wallace, is everybody's keying on our running back so much that it's actually able to open up a little space for Proctor
and
last
Proctor's
couple of weeks.
been really good and really smart about when to pull it and
so
when
Mexia
not.
has a 1st and goal here at the 10-yard line. Snap back. Hand off to Jones. No, it's
Proctor
a good
rolls
fake.
out. He's got a
It's going to be a
man in the end
touchdown
zone.
to Deichler.
And that's J.R. Deichler.
Touchdown, Black Cats.
And it's just a little drag route by the tight end who ran a deep drag across the middle right at the front of the end zone, and Proctor found him on a great pass, and Deichler was able to go down to the ground and cradle it in for the touchdown.
So Mexia had lined up in the swinging gate. They didn't see the lineup that they liked, so they're going to send out Martinez to kick an extra point as a fallback. That's never a bad thing.
No. And here, pending the extra point, that was another big possession by the Black Cats. Snap back, ball's down, kicks up, and kick is good.
And that's going to make it 14-7 Black Cats with 2 minutes and 48 seconds left as the Black Cats have once again taken the lead.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more Black Cat football.
To Mexia Sports Network. Tonight's game is brought to you by Greer Time Media, Posey Napa Auto Park, Greer and Greer Mobile Detail, Mookie's Mesquite Patch Barbecue.
All right. And we're back here at Longhorn Stadium in Cedar Hill with Black Cat football. As Mexia just scored on their second possession to take a 14-7 lead. We'll have Martinez teeing it up to kick off to the Bullard Panthers.
So Mejia's been doing the pooch kick all year, and it's just another again a pooch kick, but they switch sides on it.
It's fair caught at about the 26, 27-yard line by Bullard. And so they'll start a little bit deeper in their own territory this time on their.
And he actually had quite a bit of running room.
Yeah.
And if he could have made one person miss, he might have been gone to the races by himself.
But I think Martinez that time pulling it to the opposite side kind of caught him off guard, where they had their return set up to the right, and the ball was caught over on the left.
So Mexia Black Cat defense comes out, and it's going to be pretty much the same guys. We got Medlock, Dawson Scott, Connor McNeil, and Jawan right up top, or up on the left end. We have a quarterback by himself with trips to the top, twins to the bottom. And it's going to be a drop straight back, and he's going to be hit by Miller, but it's going to be a gain of about 6 yards.
Yeah. And that was just a quick stop route by the receiver, and they were able to get it in there before Miller got there. But Miller made a good sure tackle on that play. We'll bring up second and about 4 there for the Panthers, or we'll say 3.
So we got Regarion Hicks in, guarding 1. We have Frankie Smith and Jalil Wright in. Now we brought a running back into it, and it's going to be a handoff. And the quarterback keeps it, and he's going to be tackled for about a yard and a half gain. And that's going to bring up a –
And that was Cooper there, able to get to the line of scrimmage and through and bring the quarterback down. It's going to bring up third and about 1 here. You see the Black Cats getting set on defense as Bullard goes empty set. Now they're motioning men back.
They got one man to the top.
They have trips to the bottom.
And they're going to have one running back with the quarterback. And you have at linebacker, we have Busby and Cooper. And it's just going to be a run around the end. And he's going to dive for a first down.
I don't know. It looks like they're marked. He may be short, bro, where it was marked. They're going to give it to him. The line judge pointed at first down, but where he marked the ball, it didn't look like he had gotten enough yardage for the first down, but it was marked and the chains were moved, so it'll be 1st and 10 for Bullard from the Bullard 38-yard line.
So Mexia lines up on defense. They got trips to the bottom, one to the top, one running back in the backfield, and the quarterback's just going to drop back and throw out a little swing pass, and that's Cooper out there making a – and they're going to throw a penalty. It was a penalty. You can't pick them up and slam them. And that's what Cooper did. He picked him up and slammed him out of bounds. And that's going to be a 15-yard penalty for unnecessary roughness.
And that's another one of those rough penalties you have to deal with, because that time Cooper's behind the man, wrapped up around his waist, trying to get him down, and his momentum is carrying him backwards. So the runner's trying to pull away from him, and they just both swing around, and Cooper's just stronger. He picked him up off the ground, and they both went to the ground. My thing on that is, as
long as it's happening in the field of play, I really don't think how you can call a penalty. Now, if he is out of bounds, they're waving it off.
Right.
And like I said, that happened inbounds. So there's no way you can call that on they're both fighting.
Right.
One's fighting to go forward, one fighting to go backwards. So you're just taught to bring him down.
Exactly.
Now, if you picked him up and slammed him out of
bounds, I could understand that. But it was a play by both players being made in the middle, right inside or outside the numbers. I don't see there was any malice in it. It was just Cooper trying to get the ball carrier down.
As they're asking to have time put back up on the clock. And it's going to be second down here.
We have 24 seconds left in the first quarter. And it's second and about 6 for Bullard from their own 42-yard line.
They're asking for, is it 24 seconds? 42 seconds left
42 seconds.
First quarter here. As Mejia's leading Bullard 14-7. We're in a pretty fast first quarter.
Yeah, and there's been more passes, in this first quarter than – couple of our games here lately, and it's moving pretty fast.
Back to the officials, that was a really good job about the officials getting together and making the right call.
One threw the flag, and then they met together and they discussed it, and then they came up with a decision. And that you can never blame them for that. So you get now a pistol formation.
Trips to the bottom, one to the top, and one running back in the backfield with the quarterback.
It's going to be a snap back,
and it's a blitz coming up the middle, and the quarterback gets away. And he is at the 45-40. Tackled at about the Bullard our Mexia 39-yard line.
And that time, Mexia blitzed to the right side, and the quarterback was able to miss the blitz by Cooper and come out to the left. And he had a lot of green grass before anybody was able to get there and bring him down.
So Mejia's on defense.
He snapped back.
It's going to be a handoff.
Quarterback keeps it, and he's around the edge, and that's Dawson Scott's able to grab him, hold to his ankle, and
real
pull.
far up from where Dawson had looked like got him out of bounds, but that's going to be the end of the first quarter, and that's going to bring up a 2nd and 9 to start the second quarter for the Bullard Panthers. We're going to go to a commercial break between quarters, and we'll be right back with Black Cat Playoff Football 2019 from Cedar Hill, Texas. As we come back to Longhorn Field here in Cedar Hill, Texas, the Black Cats are on defense here, and we have second and 1 for the Bullard Panthers here.
Snap back. It's going to be a handoff up the middle.
And it's not going to be much, but it ended up being about a 5-yard run.
It looks like he was brought down at one spot, and then he rolled off and fell forward for about another 2 yards.
Wallace, I can tell you what's going on that Black Cat defense right now. They've got them on their heels, and they have them guessing where in most games we watched, Mexia was in the backfield going downhill, hitting the quarterback when he had the ball, hitting the running back when he had it. But right now our Black Cat defense is on their heels, and they don't know where they're going to hit them at next. So we got to get our composure and get in there and get a couple of bad tackles. And that's a good hit out of bounds by Cooper. And still a gain of about 6
yards on that play, yeah. And he moves it all the way down to the Black Cat 20. You know, and that's what we've seen a lot here is just a big dose of quarterback run from Bullard.
Looked like 1997 when Justin Reed run to the left and run to the right.
Yeah, they look for a couple little pass plays across the middle every time to soften up the defense a little bit. But right now it's just been the quarterback running the ball.
That worked real well for the Cats back in the day.
And really that just takes advantage of the fact that Mejia's had got real good pressure and they play upfield so hard.
It's going to be a handoff. No, and he's going to be hit at the line of scrimmage by big AK.
Yeah, and AK, that time AK got a good push, and he saw the ball carrier and was able to wrap his arms around him and just pull him down for no gain.
I'm glad that quarterback handed that off, because if he would have kept it, I think he might have walked in, because there was nobody out there.
Yeah, and right now it looks like they're running and they're overplaying a little bit, and so far, Bullard's been able to take advantage of a couple of those plays.
Only Bullard's second, third down of the game so far, and let's see what the Black Cats defense can do right here. It's his 3rd and 4 from the Black Cat 20. We got twins to the bottom. We got man in motion.
It's going to be a snap. And quarterback rolls to the right, and he's looking to throw, and it's a push-off by the receiver, but there's no flag at all. There's a lot of contact down the field. The defensive back got pushed off and was able to still recover and get a hand up and deflect the ball.
So that's going to bring up a 4th down.
And I believe, looking down at the field, I want to say that was J.B. Busby on that cover there. That's going to bring up 4th and about 4, a long 4, Jeremy, and I don't know if Bullard look like they're going to leave the offense out there and try to go for it here. So 4th and 4. Mahia's got to try to get off the field on this play. We're going to see what Bullard comes out
They've
in.
got a timeout.
And
Mexia,
timeout,
looks
Mexia.
like. Well, while we take that timeout, we'll say some scores around the area. Dawson is leading Evadale 24-0 in the second quarter. Kennedale's leading China Spring 15-7. Of course, here Mejia's up on Bullard in the second. Salato's leading Russ 22-0.
Yeah.
Willis Point and Fairfield are tied at 7 going to the second quarter. Cameron Yo is leading West 14-7.
Oh, that's a lot closer than I thought.
Grandview's leading Rockdale 14-7.
Yeah.
Brownsboro's up 13-0, and Milford and Union Hill are tied 0-0. And going into the second quarter, it's
a 6-man game. It's
yes.
still 0-0 after a quarter.
Yeah, so,
you don't see that much at all.
But last night, Avalon's game was 6-6 at halftime.
Man.
So that's some area scores. That's all the scores for the area is pretty close, except for Salato's leading big to start the second quarter.
Yeah, and with the lead like that, with that type of offense they run,
that's exactly what they want.
That's where they want to be, and they'll try to run that clock out in the second half.
So the Black Cats come up to the line on defense. It's 4th and 4 for Bullard as they got some motion right here.
It's going to be a snap back to the quarterback. It's a low snap.
And he's just going to throw it, find a man in hole, but that's going to be enough for a Panther first down.
Yeah, they're going to give him – they gave him forward progress on it, but he actually ran himself backwards and then was tackled, looked like maybe short of the sticks.
The thing is when you got 4th and 4, you got to play man-to-man.
Yeah.
You can't lay 6 to 8 yards off, and that's what he did on that route.
And that receiver just broke it off right in front of him and caught the ball to get the first down.
So Bullard comes up to the line with a 1st and 10 now on the 14-yard line. It's going to be a handoff, and the quarterback keeps it, and he's going to be tackled about the 5.
And right now, Mejia's having a little trouble detecting the reads by the quarterback and the play action, and the quarterback's being able to get some positive yards just about on each carry he's had.
So they're able to pick up a first down without getting a touchdown here, as it's 2nd and 2.
Right here, you need a big play by the defense. Looks like Mejia's going to bring some pressure. There's going to be a handoff around the left side.
And he's going to be tackled by Lamarian Miller is who that looked like.
And Miller came streaming from that safety spot. Although it looks like Bullard was able to pick up a first down on it, he stopped the runner about the 2-yard line. Looks like Mejia's going to bring in a bigger package here.
So Bullard's knocking on the door once again here.
Yeah, and right now Mejia's gonna have to figure out what Bullard's doing and hold it down. Try to hold him here. If they can keep him out of the end zone here, it would be big. And that's just gonna be
it's a fumble, and it's gonna be recovered by the.
They're gonna call it a forward pass because he pitched it forward on the play.
They're calling it an incomplete pass.
Yeah.
What a break by Bullard.
The running back had gotten just in front of the quarterback on the pitch there, and it looked like it was going to be a fumble, but they called it a forward pass, so it's an incomplete pass on that play. Mexia actually recovered that, so it would have been Mejia's ball with a chance to return that and possibly a big return and gain, but it's all null here. And, yeah, the clock is still running, and if it was incomplete, the clock should have stopped on the play.
So now Bullard's coming back up with 2nd and 2. And the quarterback's going to keep it and just go into the end zone for a Bullard touchdown. With 7 minutes and 40 seconds left, Bullard has come within 1 point of tying the game.
And they'll come out in their swinging gate formation. And now they'll run on their kicking unit. Mexia will do the same to counter that. And that was almost a big defensive play by the Black Cats that was all for naught, and then Bullard was able to get a second chance at it and put it into the end zone.
So the snap's back.
Ball's down, kicks up, and it's good.
And that's going to tie the score 14-14 here at Longhorn Field. And Cedar Hill We have the Black Cats 14 and the Bullard Panthers 14.
7:40 left in the second quarter. We'll be back after a quick break. Wallace High, Jeremy Sunday on the call.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Greer Time Media, Posey Napa Auto Park, Greer and Greer Mobile Detail, Mookie's Mesquite Patch Barbecue, Woodman Life Insurance, and Joe Fridays.
All right, and we're back here at Longhorn Field. Wallace High, Jeremy Sunday on the call with Mexia Sports Network. Right now, Bullard's getting set to kick off to Mexia as they were able to score on their second possession, which took
we have
us
not
into
seen very much this year. Wallace is a team able to go up and down the field on Mexia as easily as Bullard has so far.
Right, and right now, Mejia's just looking a little confused out on defense, and we'll see if they're able to fix the problem and get it together.
Holman
takes the kickoff, and
he's coming up the middle, and he breaks loose, and they're going to pull him down about the 18-yard line.
Yeah. And that time that they kicked it a little bit deeper on the line drive, and it skipped off of his hands, so he had to retreat to pick it up. And then he was just able to get a couple yards coming back up the field.
So what we've had here is Mexia took the ball to start the game and scored. Bullard answered. Mexia took the ball back, scored. Bullard answered. So now we're knotted at 14 here. And Mejia's going to have the ball in the worst starting field position they've had so far this game.
Their own 18-yard line.
But we are in the playoffs, Wallace, and we're playing a team that earned the playoffs. So
exactly. Oh, and there's going to be a pitch back to Holman.
And he fumbles. And it looks like the Black Cats were able to recover it, but that's a play we hadn't seen this year. But that's the one thing you can't do, especially in your end zone, is put the ball on the ground.
Yeah, and that was Brian Luna on the offensive line able to cover that up, fortunately for the Black Cats. You don't want those turnovers down there, especially when you're deep in your own territory.
So now Mexia has a lot of field to work with. They have Jones in the backfield with Wiley. Snapback is going to be handed to Jones, and he's going to be hit. And it looks like he fumbles. And Bullard picks it up and a run around the end at the 20, the 10, the 5. And he's tackled at the 5-yard line. As 2 plays in a row, Mexia puts the ball on the ground.
Yeah, and you got to make sure that you take care of the ball and you're secure with it. We saw 2 straight fumbles. Not sure what it is down there to see two Black Hats put it on the ground 2 consecutive plays. Looking down, there might be a little condensation on the field. I'm not sure if that's condensation or just wear, but you're deep in your own territory and you're in a situation in a game like this. You got to take care of the ball. You're playing a team that they're trying to take advantage of every mistake you make and everything that they're able to get. And now they've gotten a very short field here at the Black Hat 5-yard line to try to take the lead.
So now it's 1st and goal at the 5 for Bullard. It's going to be snapped back, and it's going to be a straight.
Quarterback keeps
it, and he runs straight in the end zone. Touchdown, Bullard.
And right now Mexia just hasn't had an answer for the Bullard quarterback, as he's just ran the ball up and down the field and been able to get into the end zone each time against the Black Cats. Bullard will line up to kick the extra point here as they take a lead 20-14 with 6:37 left in the second quarter. And we talk about it all the time, Jeremy. If you're Mexia, you want to kind of get back on top of this because Bullard will get the ball coming out in the second half. It's going to be kicks up and kicks good. Kick is good.
And that's going to put Bullard on top 21-14 with 6 minutes and 37 seconds left in the second quarter. As we get ready for the next kickoff, we're going to go to our sponsor break, and we'll be back at Black Cat Football Playoff 2019.
to Black Cat Football and Greer Time Media. Let's take it to the booth with your host, Freddie Greer Sr.
As we come back to Cedar Hill, Texas, Longhorn Field, Black Cat Playoff 2019, Wallace Bullard's fixing to kick off from north to south again. That was a quick turnaround right there as the Black Cats had the ball, had a couple of fumbles back-to-back, was lucky on the first one and received it, and lost it on this one. We've got to get the ball and keep it this time.
Yeah, and this time you're going to get a quick. Oh, and Holman was able to field it and get it up to the 34-yard line, 33-yard line.
As he muffed that kickoff.
Yeah, that was a little short bell ringer that time, and he ran all the way up from his deep position to try to field it. And right now, Mexia just seems confused in all three. Not necessarily offense. That with the exception of the fumbles, they've been able to move the ball kind of at will on offense. But defense and special teams has kind of been an adventure right now for Mexia. You're going to hope that they're able to settle down and get back to their normal way of play. So you'll have Proctor coming out here under center.
As we have man up front. One up top, and Holman comes in motion. And another fumble as Proctor picks it up, and he's able to pick it. And he's going to cross the 35. He cuts it back, and it's going to be a holding for the Black Cats in the back.
And that's – I'm not sure – they're calling a holding, but it looked more like just a pancake block where the lineman just drove the defender into the ground.
I think they're actually going to call it a block in the back if you really want to know.
Maybe it was a different block than what I saw.
That was a block in the back, and that's what they're going to call. But once again, that's 3 plays in a row. Mexia has put the ball on the ground. I don't know if we're playing with a slick ball or what we got going on, but we've got
to. Maybe we want to go and find another one over there that's got a little wear and rough on it. I don't know. We haven't seen that all year from the Black Cats, really, of the ball being put on the ground. And here you've seen it three straight touches by the Black Cats. They've had the ball down on the turf.
So we'll have Holman coming down here to the bottom with Harrison and Holman, and then they got twins up top, and Proctor's in the backfield by himself. And it looks like Bullard's going to call a timeout. So as Bullard calls a timeout, we're going to go to a sponsorship timeout, and we'll be back here with Black Cat Football Playoff 2019 from Cedar Hill, Texas. So we're back at Longhorn Field with Black Cat Playoff Football. Mejia's on offense, got a 1st and 20 here. Proctor's in the backfield with twins up top and trips down here to the bottom. We got man in motion, snap back, and he's going to hand off. No, he keeps it, and Proctor's running up the middle, and he's going to gain about 2 yards, 3 yards. As it looked like it was going to open up a little more, but one of their linebackers was able to grab a hold of him and keep him until everybody else got there.
Yeah, and you got to expect now that they've seen Proctor kind of gash them throughout the whole first quarter that they're going to try to spy him here. And Mexia looks like they're going to spread it out a little more. So they go to the empty backfield again, trips to the bottom, twins to the top. Proctor in the backfield by himself. Going to be a snap back to Proctor. He surveys the field. And he's just trying to make a play now as he's running and scrambling.
Gain of about 4 yards.
It's going to bring up 3rd and about 13 though for the Black Cats. And that time he didn't have time to really survey the field because he had a couple. There were a couple Black Cats that were able to get open down the field, and now the official is calling a timeout, and looks like they're trying to make Proctor go off of the field. So Yeah, there's something going on, either blood or maybe he looked like there may have been something wrong, and the official sending him to the sideline. Mexia elects to take a timeout there, so or else he would have had to come out for one play. So, right now, Mexia's gotten themselves behind the sticks. So far this game, when they've gotten behind the sticks, Proctor's been able to kind of get them out of it with his legs. In this possession, we've seen Bullard really kind of stack it up and try to keep him from being able to get around them.
Well, like we've talked about all year, though, when we got behind the chains from a penalty or just maybe a play that wasn't very smart, that's when Mexia's shot themselves in the foot and not been able to continue to move the ball. Well, that first play, we put the ball back on the ground and just out there trying to make a play. Somebody had a block in the back, put us back behind the chains, and that's where we are right now. So Mexia took their first time out of the first half. And as we come back, Proctor is going to be in the backfield with Wiley. We got a third down and about 13.
And Proctor looks, and he's got a man down the field
wide
open.
And
he drops it.
He was wide open.
And Holman was wide open down the field, and it looks like he took his eyes off the ball to try to run before he caught it, and the ball just bounced off of his fingertips. With his speed, if he would have just corralled that ball, then that's pretty much an automatic 7 for him.
Right
6 for him.
That play right there shows you Mexia's just a little bit off right now, because that's not a play that Holman has been made all year long. And Mexia's just a tip off. We're putting the ball on the ground. Oh, it looked like it might have been tipped.
It takes a Mexia bounce and roll down to the 38-yard line.
But Mexia's just a little bit off right now. As we put the ball on the ground a few times, we've dropped some passes we normally don't. So it's still close enough, and the game's still really close for us to forget what's going on, regroup, and let's go play some football, Black Cat football.
And right now, the Black Cats just need to calm down and settle down. You've had 2 straight possessions where you kind of shot yourself in your own foot with a fumble and then the drop pass right there. So the defense really has to come up and try and hold here on this play and keep Bullard from getting any more points on the board. And the quarterback keeps it.
Again. He's going to pick up about 8 yards.
And right now he's the quarterback's just watching the linebacker, and he's either giving it if the linebacker plays him or he's pulling it if the linebacker goes with the running back. And
you can watch the quarterback. He looks at one guy on the Mexia defense right now. And normally on that you're wanting to look at an end, but he's not looking at an end at all. He's looking straight up the middle at number 21 for Mexia, and whichever end he goes, he's putting the ball
on the other side. Now it's a handoff up the middle. And Mexia's able to stack it up, but they're going to get a first down out of that with a gain of about 4 yards. It's going to bring up 1st and 10 from midfield here for the Bullard Panthers. There's 4:15 left, Jeremy. Bullard gets the ball after the half. If you're Mexia, you don't want to let them get any more points because then they'll get the ball in the second half with a chance to kind of double you up. So Mexia needs to make a big play here on defense.
So it's 1st and 10, Bullard on the 50-yard line. And he's going to be hit in the backfield for about a 5-yard loss by Cooper.
And that time Cooper was able to get through the line of scrimmage and get to the quarterback.
That time the problem was
Cooper was in his face. Yeah. And and that's kind of what you want to do there. If he's going to read the linebacker, send the linebacker straight at him every time and let the ends play that man that they're handing it to.
Yeah, because he's not. This is really the first game I've seen that where a quarterback normally is looking down the line to see what your ends are doing. This quarterback this game has looked straight at Cooper every time when he gets ready for a handoff. And
now they're going to bring in a second back to have split backs on the beside the quarterback. It's going to be a snap back to him, and he drops back to pass.
And it's going to be a drop pass.
And that time Connor McNeil was able to squirt through there and get in the quarterback's face.
I thought his hand was going to be on that ball and knocking it out.
It looks like he made him throw it a little bit quicker than he wanted to.
That would have been the play Mexia needed if McNeil could have just got, a half a step sooner and knocked the ball out of his hands. Because there was 2 Black Cats back there with him that could have picked it up and taken it in for a touchdown. But
it's going to bring up 3rd and about 15 here for the
Panthers.
Panthers.
Play for the Black Cat defense. So it's just going to be a drop
back. And there you got
Cooper.
Jawan Wright.
Oh, and it's going to be a missed ball, and that was Medlock out there. If the running back would have caught that, he was not going anywhere.
No, big AK Medlock read that, and he flew out from his defensive tackle position and was right there at the receiver.
The Black Cat defense come up with the big stop they needed. The one thing you have to watch for, though, Wallace, especially in a big game like this, Bullard knows if they can get up 2 scores how important it is.
Right.
Is watch for the fake punt right here.
Right, and it looks like Mejia's staying in their defensive unit. Bullard's moving some guys around. Miller's going to drop back to return this punt. As I think Mejia just stayed in defense, and that time Mejia was almost able to get there. And it's going to be
It's going to die.
It's going to keep bouncing and rolling and takes a Bullard roll just inside the 20. So Mejia's with a big defensive possession and stop there. They'll get the ball back at their own 20 with 2:46 left and a chance to go down and try to put points on the board before halftime.
Mejia's got 80 yards to work with 2 timeouts with 2 minutes and 46 seconds left. And as we've seen, it doesn't take long for Mejia to score at certain times of a game.
Right, and if you're Mejia, you want to put the ball in the end zone right here and try to knot this game up, knowing that you have to kick the ball to Bullard in the second half. You want to tie it up and try to play 0-0 in the second half instead of being down a score.
So Mejia comes out. They're going to have Deichler tight, man up top and man down bottom with 2 running backs beside Proctor. And it's just going to be a handoff to Wiley up the middle, and he breaks the tackle.
Oh, and he's running.
Broke another one, and he's across the 30 to 32-yard line.
It's going to be a 12-yard pickup on that run, and
that was a shoestring tackle.
Again, if he was able to get his balance and get upright, nobody on that field was going to catch him.
So Mejia runs to the line real quick. It's going to be a snap back to Proctor, and it's going to be a handoff to Jones. And he breaks around the right side, and he's going to be taken down for just about 2 yards. So Mejia's hustling back to the line of scrimmage. It's 2nd and 8 here. We got 2 minutes and 17 seconds with clock ticking here. Proctor's up to the line to tell the guys to play. And he's going to go under center here. That's something we haven't seen him do much this year. It's going to be a handoff to Wiley.
And he's up the middle. And
he's hammered hard at the 42-yard line.
Yeah, it's a big hit with a man around his legs and then a man hitting him up high. But he still gained about 3 or 4 yards on that run.
Bring up a 3rd and about 6. So Mejia, we have 1:44 with time ticking here, looking over to get a play.
And here you're going to get.
We're going to have Proctor in the backfield by himself. Twins to the top, twins to the right. And Proctor's going to be tackled about a 2-yard gain.
Yeah, it's going to bring up 4th and about 4 for the Black Cats. And you got 1:20 left. You see what the Black Cats are going to try to do here. Do they leave the offense on the field and try to go get it?
I think they're going to punt this
ball. It looks like they're going to bring the punt unit on.
I just don't understand why we didn't throw a pass there, because you actually had gotten someone behind and come out and
that may have been the time.
Defense up.
It may have been the time to try to throw the ball over the top.
They are off. They're keying on your runs. They know you're going to run it. That's when you hit them over the top. That would have been a time, and of course I know Holman got behind him and he dropped it, but you still got to go back to him. He's been your playmaker all year long.
And here it looks like Mejia's going to let the time run down and then call a timeout. And that's going to, after this timeout, it'll bring up 4th and 4 for the Black Cats. We'll take a quick timeout and we'll be back with more Black Cat football from the Cedar Hill Longhorn Field.
We come back to Cedar Hill, Texas. It's Black Cat Playoff Football 2019. It's 4th and they're going to hand it to Hullum. Kicks this, and it's off the side of his foot. And it's going to get a Black Cat roll, but it's rolled down to about the 25-yard
26-yard
line. But Wallace, did you see where
There was
everybody
no-
took
yeah.
off and all he had to
Yeah.
do was run up and he would have had a first down?
And that made
the whole defense turn around.
But if the coach doesn't call that, that's
True.
not what you do. So
You're
maybe
right
maybe
there,
you
but
see it on that play, and maybe you do look at it and try to come back to it later.
the times before they had rushed the punt and was trying to block it, but that time as Holm caught the ball and he took 2 steps, man, he had 20 yards. He could have run for a first down.
Yeah, Bullard bailed as soon as the ball was snapped to get back to try to block for that punt instead of coming after him. And
So we have 26 seconds left. Bullard has they have 2 of their timeouts left.
right here, 26 seconds left. Mahia can get a big stand and go into halftime. Oh, and they just take
Bullard's
a knee.
happy with the lead here.
Yeah, they're gonna take a 7-point lead into the locker room at halftime here.
So Mahia is going to go to the halftime down 21-7, and the Bullard Panthers will be getting the ball back to start the second half. We're going to start our halftime performance here for our bands at Cedar Hill Longhorn Field, Black Cat Playoffs 2019, and we'll be back just a little bit with some stats and scores. Thank you from Jeremy Sunday, Wallace High, and Greer Media Time. Freddie Greer, take us away.
Posey Napa Auto Part, Greer and Greer Mobile Detail, Mookie's Mesquite Patch Barbecue, Woodman Life Insurance, and Joe Fridays. You're listening to Mexia Sports Network. Tonight's game is brought to you by Greer Time Media, Posey Napa Auto Part, Greer and Greer Mobile Detail, Mookie's Mesquite Patch Barbecue, Woodman Life Insurance, and Joe Fridays.
Today's game brought to you by Eagle Auto Parts, located on Main Street. For more information, visit eagleauto.com.
to Mexia Sports Network. Tonight's game is brought to you by Greer Time Media, Posey Napa Auto Part, Greer & Greer Mobile Detail, Mookie's Mesquite Patch Barbecue, Woodman Life Insurance, and Joe Fridays.
You're listening to Black Cat Football and Greer Time Media. Let's take it to the booth with your host, Freddie Greer Sr.
As we come back to Cedar Hill, Texas, Longhorn Field Black Cat Playoff Football 2019, I've got some stats here, and these stats are a lot different than I'm used to looking at. But we'll do Bullard first. Their quarterback has 89 yards rushing in the first half and 2 touchdowns. He is 4 completions out of 8 attempts for 24 yards, and Bullard has had 10 first downs in the first half. In the last 3 games, Mexia hasn't given up that many first downs in the first half total. So Bullard's come out and found something that works, and they're going to have to Mejia's going to have to go in there on defense and regroup and come out and find a way to stop them, because Mexia received the first half punt, so Bullard to get it, and they're up by 7, and they've been able to move, except for one time Mexia stopped them. The defense showed up, and maybe on that series they had started making some adjustments. But Mejia's defense is going to have to come out and play Black Cat defense in the second half like they didn't in the first half. Well, the Cat offense, Wiley had 5 rushes for 44 yards. Proctor had 9 for 106 and a touchdown. Jones had 1 for 2. Holdman had 2 for 6. We had they had 1 fumble, and that was Jones. And then we had 9 first downs, and we were 1 of 2 with a touchdown to J.R. Deichler in the end zone down here on the south side. But Wallace, after looking at the first half, and there's adjustments that's going to have to be made on both sides of the ball for the Cats to be able to move on here in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it and watching it. You know, Mejia's offense isn't in a bad spot. They've moved the ball. Kind of how they wanted to throughout the first half, with the exception of a fumble, and then they had a big play in the making but had a drop pass there. Other than that, you know, they've moved up and down. We've seen them be able to run the ball, especially with Proctor's feet and then him throwing the ball. We got the 1 touchdown to J.R. Deichler, and then even on the long pass, they were able to get open on it. They just didn't connect with it. So I think Mejia's going to have to come out, and they're going to look to really make some more big plays and keep consistent with what they're doing on offense. On defense, we just got to get it figured out. It seems like Mexia played on their heels on defense a lot that first half. Weren't really sure where the ball was, and were reacting a little bit slow. So we're going to have to get that together on defense and come out and play a stronger and more sure game.
Some scores from around the area. Dawson's leading Evadale 24-0 in the third. Kennedale's leading China Spring 15-7.
That's a close one.
Mejia's down to Bullard 21-14 here. Salado is blowing Rusk out right now 36-8. Willis Point's leading Fairfield 14-10. Cameron Yo's up on West 28-7. Grandview's up on Rockdale 21-7. West and Lago Vista are playing tough at halftime at 7-0.
Whitney. Yeah, I thought that game would have been a little
we were talking about 6-man earlier. Milford is winning 8-2 over Union Hill in the third quarter.
Oh, wow.
And Brownwood Lions are beating Castleberry High School 47-0.
Yeah, and we picked some of those games on Wednesday night, and some of them seem like they're holding true to fashion. The other ones are a little bit closer than what we thought they would have been. But, it's playoff football. Everybody's worked hard. They got their chance to get in the playoff. No matter what that regular season record was, when you come into playoffs, you're 0-0. Everybody's 0-0 in this first week, and everybody's trying to get play and move on to the next week and get a win, like we talked about earlier, being 1-0 that week. And that's when you see a lot of those upsets and those games where everybody knows, hey, we got to leave it all out on the field this one game to see another week.
That's the big thing that right now you got the coaches in there at halftime, and the Bullard coaches have to be super happy. They come in with a 3-7 record, and they're playing a number 9 team in state right now, and they're up at halftime 21-14. And you got to be thinking in that Mexia locker room as a coach. We both played ball. Did you play a little in college as well, Wallace? I played college ball, and man, this is the worst halftime adjustments right there as a player. Is when you're in there right now and you've been working on something all week. And you as a coach says, you know what, we've got to work on something different right here, and they've got to go to the drawing board and look at, hey, this is what they're doing to us, coaches. Now they've got to change a little bit of strategy and go to them boys and say, hey, boys, I know we worked on this, but, hey, this is how we're going to attack our second half because we want to be playing next week.
Yeah, and just kind of looking at it, like you said, is you got to make those adjustments. You got to get that talk and get the guys motivated and ready to come out and play the second half. And what you have to understand, too, as a player is, for those seniors in there, if this could be it. You have one half of football left that's guaranteed to you for this season, so you got to come out and play like that, like there's nothing left. Right now it looks like Bullard's coming out there playing that way, like they know that this could be the last time they step on the field this season. Mejia's going to have to come out and do the same thing, and just kind of light a fire under them, and especially on the defense. Get back to playing the way we've seen the defense play all season, where they're flying around, making big plays, getting turnovers, because that's what the second half is going to be really come down to the defense. As we talk about it and we've seen it in the first half, Mejia's defense hasn't played that great in the first half. The offense had some bad plays and a turnover, and you look at the scoreboard and you're down one possession. You're down 7 points. You're going to have to come out because Bullard's going to get the ball to start off the second half. You're going to have to come out and get a stop and get ready to start off the second half and dominate from that point on. And that's what you have to be telling your kids when you're in the locker room getting ready to come out for the second half is we're not out of it. The game's not over. You have another 24 minutes to change everything around and really come out and set the tone from the very beginning once you kick off in the second half.
Well, we all picked this game, and I picked Mexia to be winning a little bit bigger. But, as they say, us in the media is just predictions and is what we think. It's going to be played on that field. And in the first half, Bullard has completely on both sides of the ball. Even though Mexia scored a couple times, Bullard looks like the more aggressive team out on the field.
Yeah, it just looks like they came out ready to execute the game plan they had. And, they're not physically bigger or physically imposing on Mexia. It's just that it seems like they have Mexia reacting slow because, like, the reactions, the plays, the mindset of Mexia is a step too slow in some plays, and it's allowing Bullard to pick up yards that that you wouldn't think that they would be able to get, but they're able to get around the edge, able to get off of a tackler, and then move the ball down the field. So, like you say, they're coming out and they're playing harder right now. It just looks like they're making a few more plays than Mexia is able to make. And we're going to see if we can turn that around in the second half and get it back on track.
Well, something you said earlier, and this is a big key, and any coach will tell you in big ball games, the turnover battle is going to tell the difference. And Mexia has not turned the ball over and put the ball on the grass very much. And 3 straight plays in a row, Mexia put the ball on the grass. do you just attest that to Bullard maybe shaking him up a little bit, or Mexia just a little bit out of sync, or?
I think maybe it's just a little bit out of sync. Just looking at the plays, you had one where it was a pitch back to Holman, and he came and hit the line, and then the ball squirted out. I'm not sure if he ever got a good hold on it. The other one was a little handoff that never really got from the quarterback to the running back. And then the other on Jones's fumble, it looks like he just hit the line and the ball popped out. And you're not really sure what all happened on the field and what's causing it, but it just looked like they were a little out of sync, had a little disconnect there for a second, and it cost them on those few possessions that they had.
Well, we have 12 minutes left before we come back out the second half. That is our little halftime show. We're going to go to some radio time and some sponsorship, and we'll be back to bring you the second half kickoff of Black Cat Playoff Football 2019 from Cedar Hill, Texas, Longhorn Stadium.
located on Main Street. For more information, visit eagleauto.com.
Mexia Sports Network. Tonight's game is brought to you by Greer Time Media, Posey Napa Auto Part, Greer and Greer Mobile Detail, Mookie's Mesquite Patch Barbecue, Woodman Life Insurance, and Joe Fridays. To Mexia Sports Network. Tonight's game is brought to you by Greer Time Media, Posey Napa Auto Part, Greer and Greer Mobile Detail, Mookie's Mesquite Patch Barbecue, Woodman Life Insurance, and Joe Fridays.
You're listening to Black Cat Football and Greer Time Media. Let's take it to the booth with your host, Freddie Greer Sr.
As we come back to Cedar Hill ISD Longhorn Stadium here in Cedar Hill, Texas, we're bringing you 2019 Black Cat playoff football as the Mexia Black Cats are facing the Bullard Panthers. And the Panthers have the upper edge right now to start out the second half, leading 21-14. Mejia's out there in the north end zone getting all hyped up. So hopefully we're going to get an inspired Black Cat team coming out the second half and getting a stop from Bullard and getting the ball back and tying this up real quick.
Yeah, Mexia needs to get a stop on this first defensive possession as they'll be kicking off to Bullard. You kind of want to switch it and flip the momentum immediately, because if you can get a stop, get the ball, go score, then you're back in action for the night. If you allow Bullard to move the ball down and get a score, it kind of keeps them with momentum and just makes it tougher for you.
Well, here come the Bullard Panthers down here from the south end zone. And the Mexia Black Cats are getting ready to come down on the field from the north end zone. Mexia swaying back and forth, trying to get some electricity running. So Mejia's coming onto the field for some second half Black Cat football from Cedar Hill, Texas. And the Black Cats come running on the field. Wallace, I was just got a bug put in my ear that what we had talked about the whole first half, that Mexia has noticed that we were correct with them reading Cooper, and they have made some halftime adjustments, and we'll see what they're going to do. But they did notice that what we were talking about was being
done. You know, it's just a little different wrinkle from the Bullard offense. If you're reading the middle linebacker instead of reading the end on those read option plays, you know, and hopefully Mexia's able to make the correct adjustments, and then they'll be able to stymie that attack from Bullard and get the defense back on track and going. But Mexia will be kicking to Bullard, kicking from south to north here. It'll be Martinez setting the tee and getting ready to get the ball down and tee it off for Mexia. Bullard's come out on the field, and they're set up to return the kickoff.
As Mexia is showing a lot of excitement over there on the sideline, so those guys are ready to come out and get this game turned around.
And one of the things you want to see with all those guys over there on the sideline, you want them to be the first line of cheerleaders and support for your team that's on the field. And if they can get that energy and excitement up over on the sideline, it kind of boosts those guys that are out between the numbers playing.
So Martinez is getting ready for this kickoff to start the second half of by-district play, and it's just going to be a pooch kick.
Taking it to the 24-yard line.
And he's going to have a missed tackle, and he's going to be tackled about the 39-yard line.
So Bullard will start their first possession of the second half from their own 39.
That's about the field position that most teams have started with that little kick that Mexia does this year.
Yeah, you know, that little high bell ringer kick, it's a good about 20-yard kick. And when you kick it a little bit deeper, you expect for them to be able to return it a little bit, and that's what they did there. And they're starting about the same spot we usually see it. So it'll be interesting to see the adjustments they made at halftime as Mexia comes back out with their normal alignment on defense. And we get the quarterback running again. And
Mexia's speed is going to be right there to take him. They're going to call face mask, which he never grabbed it. His hand went across it, but that's what that call is going to be. Is going to be a face mask on Mexia.
And he was just making a play, and as he went to wrap up the runner, he dipped his head, and the defender's arm just hit him across the helmet, and then he brung him down. He never grabbed the face mask, but you're going to get that. You're going to get that call because they're trying to protect the players.
Well, that's the last thing you needed on your first play because they had actually strung them out and kept it for about a 2-yard gain.
Right, but that time we were able to see. Looks like they did make that adjustment, and they strung out the play out wide, and Mexia was able to stymie it. So here, even though you got the penalty, you want to see if you can start getting something going and get a stop right here. The ball will be at the Mexia 44-yard line as that penalty of 15 yards moved the ball down into Black Hat territory.
So now Bullard comes to the line of scrimmage with trips to the top, man in the backfield, and
quarterback keeps it again.
And he is hit, but he's not going to be brought down before he gains 9 yards. Once again, just a quarterback sneak, quarterback straight up the middle, and Mexia cannot do anything to stop it right now.
And that time, B.J. Sunday was on the tackle. And Mexia seemed like they were in position to make the play, and the quarterback just lowered his head and just ran on for 9 yards.
So he's going to snap back, and he's going to throw it deep. And he's going to have a catch, and he drops it.
And that was J.B. Busby able to run beside him and get his hands in there just enough to knock that ball loose. As it looked like the receiver was going to be able to haul it in, Busby was able to kind of flick his left arm in there and jar it from his hands, and it's just going to be a long, incomplete pass, and it'll bring up third and one here.
With a second and one like that, that's usually when your offensive coaches like to go deep because they know, hey, I got third and one here. Why not throw it up and try to get a big play here?
And this third and one, you got to expect that the quarterback's going to try to pick up this first down.
So Mexia's come in tight on defense, and it's going to be a snap back, and it's going to be a handoff, and he's going to be tackled maybe about it. Oh, they going to give it to him?
It looks like he's going to be right at – and the line judge over here deep is signaling first down, but without even looking at the chains, and the ball's right at where the markers were. And where it's set, it actually may have been a few inches short. But the referees move it up, and it's going to be first down and 10 from the Mexia 34-yard line.
So Mejia's coming up, and they're going to play a little tighter on the wide receivers, and it's going to be a drop back. And it's just going to be a quarterback run up the middle. He's going to cross the 30, 25.
He's tripped up by Cooper.
Just every time he runs, he's getting 10 yards, Wallace.
Yeah, it's going to be a 10-yard pickup there for the quarterback. And he moves the ball down to the Mexia 24-yard line. And actually going to spot it at the 23-yard line, so it was a pickup of 11 on that run. You know, and this is what we said Mexia didn't need to happen.
The face mask right off the bat when they finally got to stop is going to be the big play in this one. So it's going to be a snap back on 1st and 10.
Low snap. It's going to be a
across
pass
the
middle.
Wide open wide receiver. He stops and cuts back, and he's going to be across the 5, and he's still going to about the 4-yard line.
There's going to be a flag down on the field back at about the 22-yard line.
And that's about where you would call a holding penalty.
Right. It's going to be
personal foul.
Roughing the passer
on
against Mexia. So that'll move it into half the distance of the goal line. And so Bullard will have the ball 1st and goal at about the 2-yard line. You know, and that's been the thing right there, Jeremy. You've had 2 big penalties, 2 personal fouls on the opening drive of the second half, and it's allowed Bullard to keep the drive alive and move the ball down deep inside Black Cat territory right now, with a chance to go into the end zone and pick up more points.
Well, we got 9 minutes and 44 seconds left here. The big thing is Mexia just needs to keep their heads up. I mean.
Right.
Oh, we had a penalty. There they are. He jumped.
That was the right guard. Yeah, that was the right guard. Just jumped out of his stance there.
Mexia shifted on defense, and when they shifted, the right guard jumped, and that's something Bullard hasn't done yet. I mean, they've been pretty disciplined so far.
Right.
In this game.
I think that may be their first or second penalty of the game so far.
So Mejia's got them backed up 5 more yards, so it's going to be 1st and goal from the 7 now, which makes a lot of difference when you go from the 2 to the 7, whether it's first down or second down. It's going to be a snap back, and it's just going to be a
quarterback
fake. And there's a hold outside on Dawson Scott, but he's a touchdown pass to Bullard in the back of the end zone. How you missed the hold on Scott out there is unbelievable. He was tackled.
And that's what Dawson Scott saying to the official right there is he's outside going to the quarterback, and he just got yanked down by the offensive lineman right in front of that back judge, and there was no flag thrown. And you seen Dawson, who doesn't say much, but he was out there pleading his case to that official after the play.
So snap down, kick up, and that's going to put.
There's a flag down. So
it's going to be illegal motion.
That'll
move Bullard
on
Panthers.
Bullard, so it'll move them back 5 yards.
I'm not understanding all year long that's happened to Dawson. Dawson's rolling out to the right to go get the quarterback, and he's yanked to the ground, and he's not had very many holding calls called on him, but yet a quarterback can get hit and a penalty's going to go down every play.
Yeah, I mean, when you see him squaring up the quarterback to go tackle and he's yanked backwards, running towards the quarterback,
so second attempt at the extra point,
snap down,
back.
Ball's up, and
it's
kick's
going to be a good kick, and that's going to put Bullard up by 2 touchdowns on the Mexia Black Cats here at Cedar Hill ISD Longhorn Stadium.
We'll take a quick timeout, and we'll be back with more action with 9:08 left in the third quarter.
Mexia Sports Network. Tonight's game is brought to you by Greer Time Media, Posey Napa Auto Park, Greer and Greer Mobile Detail, Mookie's Mesquite Patch Barbecue, Woodman Life Insurance, and Joe Fridays.
As we come back to Longhorn Stadium here in Cedar Hill, Texas, Bullard's getting ready to kick off to the Black Cats, leading 28-14 with 9 minutes left in the third quarter. Wallace, the big thing here is there's plenty of time left for the Black Cats.
Yeah, and you're going to get the ball for your first possession of the second half. You want the Black Cats take care of the ball here and go down and put points on the board. If you're able to do that, you're right back in the game. You just have to take it one possession at a time, and, you're going to have to get some points and you're going to have to get some stops. There's going to be a high kick and it's going to be out of bounds as Holman lets it go out of bounds.
So that'll be really good start and field position for the Black Cats. Should be around the 30 or 35-yard line.
Yeah, and they're gonna set the ball at the 35. So Mahale start their first possession in the second half from their own 35, and that's not bad field position. We're gonna see what the Black Cats are able to do. They're gonna start from their own 30, and we're gonna see how they're able to come out and answer. As Bullard was able to score on their first possession and take a lead, and
well, Mahia's going to come out with. They're going to have 2 men up to the top. They're going to have linebacker tight, and they're going to have running backs.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. They never switched the ball, so they were trying to set a Bullard ball down for Mahia's offense to run with.
That's not good because we can't hold on to our own football.
Yeah.
We sure don't need to be trying to hold on to the opponent's football.
And so now they got the right ball set there, and Mahale take over from their 30-yard line. Will be Proctor in the backfield with Wiley and Jones to east side. Hand off to Wiley, and he's out around the right side.
He's across the 40. It's going to be enough for a Black Cat first down on the first play.
Yeah, and that was a big run by Wiley as he was able to get to the right edge and just explode up the field. They're going to mark him out short.
Wow, what? Whoa.
They're going to mark him for a gain of only 8 yards.
Even the line. Oh, man. I'm not for sure what happened there, but so now we're back. We got second and two here. But even the side judge down here had the lines moving, so hand off to Wiley up the middle, and he's going to have enough for a Black Cat first down there. So on his second attempt, he was able to get a first down.
He picked up 3 on that.
How are we going to have offsides on the offense? Come on, guys. You have offsides on the defense.
After the play, we got a penalty on a penalty flag down at the line. See what the lineman comes in and says.
He called offsides on the offense, but I think he really meant it on the defense. No.
Oh, he's changed it down to false start.
He called offsides on. Oh my. Well, we didn't see much of them the first half, but they're sure showing up here in the second half.
It's called. I guess it was an illegal procedure, or because if it's false start, you stop it before the play.
His first sign was offsides.
Right. I'm not sure what.
But the Black Cats have to come up with a first down and a long drive here to answer.
And my head's going to have to cut out all the penalties. We've seen a bunch of penalties here in the second half already. It's going to be Proctor keeps it, and he's out of.
He's going to throw a hold on J.R. Deichler right there, and it was there. I mean, he held.
Yeah. And so Mahe's still going backwards. It's flag after flag right now, and this is what Mahe cannot have when they're in this position. So you got to fix it. You got to fix the little things. The penalties are what's causing Mahe to shoot themselves in the foot right now, as we've seen it when they were on defense the first possession, and now we're seeing it on offense. That's going to move it back another 10 yards. So Mahe's going to end up with a second and about 18.
Well, Mahia is going to come out and trips to the top, it looks like now. With one down here, actually we're going to have an
empty backfield. You're going to have twins to the bottom, trips to the top.
So now Proctor's going to be in the backfield all by himself on this play. Wiley and we're steadily going backwards, Wallace.
Yeah, and that was a loss.
They're going to have to throw the ball.
Yeah,
I mean, this isn't.
That time they just had a spy right there on Proctor, and when he went to pull the ball down and run, the defender was right in his face, and he didn't have anywhere to go. He tried to peel back and turn around and get away from him, but he just couldn't get away that time.
For some reason, we're not wanting to open it up, and, I mean, you're just going – the thing is they have a 3-4 defense, and they have a linebacker that is spying Proctor on every play. So anything Proctor wants to do, they're going to have a linebacker on him, and that's going to give you a chance to get a couple of deep balls downfield, and that's what we're not going to.
And Mexia moves under center. They send a man in motion. It's going to be a snapback, and the ball's handed off underneath to Wiley, and he turns and picks up about 5 yards on the play.
So that's going to bring
up, it's going to bring up 4th and long. So the punt unit comes out on the field. And, if you're Mexia, that's not what you want. You're not wanting to concede possessions here. You want to get down and get points on the board. You're behind 2 scores right now, and you really have not stopped the Bullard offense all night. And right now with just the punch that we've seen in the first half, you expect that Bullard's probably going to have good field position.
And Holland gets into this one. He turns it over, but it does not give a black cat bounce.
It just takes a sideways bounce, and it's going to be downed at the Bullard 49-yard line.
Bullard's going to come out with good starting field position on the second drive of the second half.
And right here, this is the time, Jeremy, where you might say that you have to have a stop right here. You're down two possessions right now. You don't want to go down 3 possessions.
And unless you as an offense want to open up and go to passing the ball, you've got to get a stop here. Because when you get down by 3 scores, you don't have an option. You've got to start throwing it because
and then the defense knows you're going to throw. So right here, you got to try to get a stop right here from your defense and get the ball back into your offense's hands. As Bullard will be in the have an empty backfield.
And it looks like Cooper's coming up for a blitz. And he does. And B.J. Sunday runs right by him, and he's going to run up the field for about a 6-yard gain. As B.J. Sunday missed him for a 4-yard loss in the backfield, just run right by him.
Yeah, and they brought the pressure right where they needed to that time, and Sunday just was not able to tackle him and get him on the ground. They'll stay in the same formation for Bullard as they check over to the sideline for the play.
They're not in any hurry to run the clock here.
The quarterback lines back up. He's going to clap, and the snap's back to him, and he's just setting up to run it.
And he runs a hold right there on the outside, but they didn't get it. And the running back, the quarterback is just lining up and running over my head tonight. That's all there is.
They're just running quarterback power right now, either side of the field. And that time you did have a hold on the end, and it wasn't called. That's the difference in the game right now, or in this second half, is Mexia's had a bunch of penalties, and the flags have come out. And right now, Bullard's pretty much staying clean and keeping the laundry off the field. And so they'll line up. The ball's already down at the Mexia 31 or 26-yard line. Be a snapback.
And he's just going to run it out to the right.
Left. And he reverses field, and he's
going to be tackled in the backfield by Cooper.
That time Cooper was able to get to him when he tried to reverse field and bring him down for about a 5-yard loss.
But that's 4 plays in a row where they just stretch everybody out.
Right.
He takes 2 steps back and just runs the ball.
And right now it looks like that's what they're doing. They're trying
they're going to get him for about a 5-yard loss instead of 2 there.
They're trying to spread the defense out and then just let the quarterback pick a hole and run through it.
So they'll come back to the line of scrimmage. Bullard's got trips to the top, Twins to the bottom. It's motion, and he just drops back, and he's looking for a wide receiver down the right side. And it's intercepted by Busby, and it's going to be
a touchback. And that's a great play by J.B. Busby. He just ran step for step with the receiver, and when he turned around, he caught it right in his breadbasket.
I'm going to tell you, as a Black Cat fan and as a Black Cat announcer, Bullard just gave you a toy, a gift.
And you got to use it.
You've got to come out and go score on this.
You're able to get that turnover and keep them from putting points on the board. You have to go get points here.
They're driving the ball down your throat, 10 yards of run. They come out and want to throw the ball, throw it into your guys' arms. They just gave you a gift. Now it's time to go.
And Busby was able to make the play that we said the Black Cats needed. And so now we're going to see if the Black Cat offense can turn it up and make Bullard pay for that.
And it's Holman,
and he breaks
across the 35,
he breaks
40,
loose,
50,
and he's still running. He cuts back, and he's still running. He's going. He's drugged down at the 31-yard line. He's all the way down into Bullard territory.
Right here, Mexia needs to, let's run up to the line of scrimmage and let's run some real quick plays. You got the defense
get
on
going.
their heels.
You got momentum, and you have momentum, and you're rocking, and that looks like what Mexia's doing. They're already set. and they're ready to snap the ball. And it's back to and Proctor pulls
keeps
it, and he's
and
up the middle.
And we're going to have another hold. We can get a hold on Mexia for sure, but we can't get a hold on Bullard.
And that play, the flag that he threw is a play that happened 10 yards behind where the ball was. Proctor had been tackled 6 yard on a 6-yard gain before that flag came out of the pocket of the back judge.
Personal foul, face mask
against Mexia.
That's even worse than a hold.
That's a 15-yard penalty that backs you up when you have momentum and you're moving the ball. I'm not sure who it was against.
It was behind the play.
Yeah,
it
was definitely behind the play. It looked like there was maybe he was going to call a lineman for a hold, but he got a face mask against the offense, which you don't see very much. Oh, and now we'll get a false start on Mexia. Oh no, they hadn't blown the whistle for ready for play. So it'll be set at the Bullard 46-yard line. Snap back, hand off to Wiley, and he was one man away from breaking loose on that play.
The way they're playing their defense is they're wanting you to run. We've got athletes all around the field, and they've got everybody in the box, and they're wanting you to run.
We've got to snap back to Proctor.
There we go.
He looks up. He throws it out. And it's interception. He was looking for Christian Clark on that, and the defender was able to cut right
Harrison
underneath.
was down the sideline all by himself. Well, Mexia just gave a gift back.
Yeah, you had a lot of momentum after the turnover and then the big play, and then penalties started moving you backwards, and you got behind the chains, and then Bullard was able to get a turnover on Mexia again. So now Mejia's defense is going to have to come back on the field, and you're going to have to try to get another big stop here and get the ball back. As momentum changed suddenly for the Black Cats, now it's changed suddenly again for the Panthers.
So we got trips to the bottom, one to the top. It's going to have a fake handoff. Quarterback keeps it again up the middle. And he's going to be tackled for about a 4-yard loss by McNeil.
And he moves the ball up to about the 44-yard line, so it's going to be about a 4-yard gain. Bring up 2nd and 6.
We haven't called Medlock's name a lot tonight. We're just not getting any penetration up front.
No, and what it looks like is that the quarterback's just reading and he's going away from the flow, so he's taking all of those big guys out of the play. They're going to have to get off those blockers quick and get back in his face.
And here's Deichler.
Oh, and he throws it away.
And that was Busby nearest to that ball once again. So that's going to bring up a 3rd down and about 6 for the Bullard Bulldogs.
Oh, and that time
Panthers here. I'm sorry.
That time that was Davis able to get in the backfield and get in the face of the quarterback and make him throw the ball away. And now you're in 3rd down for the Black Cats. You want to be able to get a stop here and force them to punt the ball away to you. They're not looking to move the ball quick. It's already down to 2 minutes and 22 seconds in the 3rd quarter. Mexia needs to stop right here and get the defense off the field and the ball back in their offense's hands.
So it's going to be a snap back. Got a man, and it's just going to be a straight drop back. And
the quarterback rolls out, and he's just going
to be fast enough to get the 1st down down the sideline like all night long. He is just faster than what our outside linebackers are.
And we overloaded to the right side that time, and when he snapped the ball, the left side collapsed, and there was nobody over there to defend him and keep him inside, and he just outran everybody. And that's what he's been able to do, like you said, all night long. He just holds the ball in the backfield long enough to see what opens up, and then he just takes off running and uses his speed to get around everybody.
Snap back, and it's going to be a handoff to the running back. Now he comes across the right side. 30, 25, down to about the 23-yard line for Bullard Panthers as they're marching down the field once again on the Black Cat defense.
And right now it doesn't look like the Black Cats on the edge are coming up to fill the gaps and to hit the ball carrier. They're just sitting back kind of waiting on them. And it's allowing the Bullard Panthers to get yards on each possession. It's another handoff to the running back, and that time Jabron Busby
is there for a tackle at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that'll be no gain.
And that was the difference there on the defense. We had a couple in the backfield, so he had to adjust his running angle. And when he was able to adjust his running angle, Busby was able to tackle him at the line of scrimmage to where we haven't had nobody back there, so they're just able to just take off running and run up the field. So as they come back to line of scrimmage, it's 2nd and 10. It's just that read fake. He's going to get hammered at the line of scrimmage by McNeil and AK.
There's Metlock and McNeil there on that stop.
So that'll be 3rd and 10 now. It seems like unless the quarterback's running it, they're not really able to get yardage.
No, you know that one play that the running back was able to break just a second ago was about the biggest play anybody's gotten against Mexia, with the exception of the quarterback so far tonight. So you got to know that's their big play man, and that's who you got to key on. Mexia's able to get back. It's a hold there, and Mexia knocks the ball down, and it falls to the ground.
That was Big Dawson Scott.
Yeah, he was able to get in and get his hands up and knock the ball out of there while he was being held and drugged. He cannot buy one of those penalties. That time he jumped in the air to knock the ball down, and you could see his jersey being yanked from behind him by one of those linemen, stretched out about a whole yard, and no flag came out. But Mexia's able to knock the ball out of the air. It's going to bring up 4th and 10. The ball is on the Mexia 23-yard line. And it looks like Bullard may be trying to go for it here.
It's going to be a big stop for the defense if they can get this here.
If you're Mexia, you want to get this stop and get off the field.
And he's just going to be a straight drop back. And
he's hit. And he stays on his feet.
Where's the hold? You got to throw the hold.
And Mexia still gets to him and brings him down on a big loss.
You got to throw the flag there, though. 35.
Yeah. The offensive lineman was just draped on him, yanking his jersey from the neck area.
Big stop for the Black Cat defense there. If you look out there, we're missing number 2. Number 2 got hurt a couple of weeks ago, and he was is it Kennedy? Kennedy. And we're missing him out there big time.
You're missing 2 players with 2, and then Prince Banks, unfortunately being ill today is what we've been told, and not being able to play. Those are two key players on your defense that you don't have out there tonight.
So we have Holman down here to the bottom, Clark to the top. We got Wiley in the backfield, and it's
Proctor
just Proctor's going to take off around the right end.
And he runs and makes a man miss.
And he's out of bounds as time expires in the 3rd quarter.
But he's up to about the 47-yard line.
They're going to mark him out at the 44.
They're going to mark him at the 44. And so as we go to the intermission between the 3rd quarter and the 4th quarter, Mexia will come out with the ball to begin the 4th quarter with the ball at their own 44-yard line. And as we pause here in the game, we're going to take a break and bring you a word from our sponsors. And it'll be Wallace High and Jeremy Sunday back in just a second with more Black Cat football.
You're listening to Mexia Sports Network. Tonight's game is brought to you by Greer Time Media, Posey Napa Auto Part, Greer & Greer Mobile Detail, Mookie's Mesquite Patch Barbecue.
As we come back to Longhorn Field here in Cedar Hill, Texas, the Black Cats have the ball to start the 4th quarter down by 2 touchdowns. And they have a first down on their 44-yard line. Proctor lines up. We got 1 to the top, 1 to the bottom with Proctor, and it looks like Wiley beside him. Going to bring Holman in. They're going to hand off to Wiley. No, Proctor keeps it around the right side, and he's going to pick up about 7 yards as we need one of them patent Black Cat big scores here.
Right. Oh, and Proctor looks like he gets up a little gimpy, but he's running it off, and he's back to the huddle, and looks like he's good and all right. Right here you need a quick score from Mexia and or a big time possession and get points on the board. You want to get in the end zone here as you're down 14.
All you're thinking about is 7 right here. There's no thought of anything else but 7 points on the board. As we got a little confusion here. We got 10 seconds left on the play clock.
And get
Snap
set.
back to Proctor. And he's going to hand off to
Wiley.
Wiley. And he's going to go around the left side.
And he's
he
up the
cuts
middle.
Back, and he's going to go about the 36-yard line is where they're going to put him down at.
That's about a good 13-yard, or I will say 12-yard run on that carry. He picks up the first down and moves it
quickly up to the line.
It's going to be a snap back to Proctor. He hands it off to Wiley again, and Wiley's up the middle. And he's breaking loose.
20, 15, 10,
5. Touchdown, Black Cats.
Touchdown.
And there's no flags on the play.
Well, that's
so
odd.
so the Black Cats will get that touchdown, and it was a big play and a big score that the Black Cats have been needing, Jeremy. We were just talking about that, looking for the Black Cats to get one of their patented drives going, and they were able to do it there. It'll be Martinez set up for the extra point. As looks like they had to reset the tee, and so Martinez takes his steps off. He's got plenty of time. Snap back, ball down, kicks up, and kick is good.
And that's going to bring them ahead with one score, 28-21.
You know, and we talked about it, Jeremy, how Mexia needed to come out and get a quick score and then really set the tone. We've seen the defense be able to hold a couple times, and then Mexia wasn't able to take advantage when they got on offense. That time they were able to kind of get back to what we've seen all season of being able to move the ball and get into the end zone. And now you're going to kick the ball back off to Bullard, and you need that intensity and that excitement to keep going, and that the defense to come out and get another big stop.
Yeah, we have 10 minutes and 49 seconds left, and that's plenty of time for the Black Cats to make a couple of stops and get the lead here. But most important, Coach has said it's getting down to the time of game where Coach has said we got to go 1-0 this week. You've got to go 1-0 in downs here.
Right.
You've got to stop
one play at a time, yeah.
And
you got to win every play.
You've got to, on first down here, you're going to have to get a big loss or a stop at the line of scrimmage. And every battle, you need to win every battle on every down right now. Because this game is right here for your taking. You just got to start winning each battle. So Martinez lines up and looks like he's going to kick this ball deeper. It's looks like Mejia's kicked the ball a little deeper tonight than they have most games.
Yeah.
And that's what he looks like.
And he does. He drives it down the field, and that ball's going to hit. Oh, stay in bounds, and it does. Oh.
It goes out of bounds, and that will be a touchback. It's not a penalty.
Yeah.
So it'll come out to the 20-yard line.
Yeah, I thought I was wondering to see if the return man didn't touch that ball as he slid across over to it around the 1 yard line.
Unless he has possession, it doesn't matter. He can touch it. If the ball goes into the end zone, it's still going to be a touchback because he never had possession.
Right, he never had possession of it. You're correct.
But the good thing is Mejia's got him at the 25-yard line.
You know, if that ball could have checked up right there at the 1, then I think Mexia would have been able to pin it. But they're at the 25. Mejia's defense is coming back on the field. We're going to see if Mexia can get another big stop here.
So you have Mexia on defense, trips to the top, twins to the bottom. You know this is just lined up as the same quarterback sneak that we've seen.
The quarterback's looking to the sideline and trying to audible. He pulls it down. Oh, and he's met in the backfield, and Mejia's able to stop him right at the line of scrimmage.
Once again, McNeil was held. I mean, his jersey's everywhere. But that was a good stop for the Black Cats on first down.
Exactly. You know, that's about a 1 yard gain, so it'll bring up 2nd and 9 here for Bullard. And if Mexia can key on that and just limit what the quarterback's able to do here with his feet, it really does bode well for the Black Cat defense. So Bullard comes up to the line of scrimmage. The defense gets set. It's going to be a snap back to the quarterback as he hands off.
And he's going to be stopped.
And he drove backwards by Miller.
But they're going
that's Cooper.
He's going to give him up to
about
the 20.
They gave him about a 3 yard gain on that play, but it's going to bring up 3rd and 6. A long 6 here on this play.
So Mexia runs a couple of defenders on. And the sideline's getting all jacked up over there as we talk about the electricity. Bullard's going to bring their men in on this one, and surely you think they wouldn't put it in the air right here. I mean, the thing they want is the time to be gone.
It's 3rd and 6. I don't know. They're being tight. You might get them trying to sneak one of those tight guys out for a gain, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to roll the quarterback out, and he's being stalked by the defense, And then he tries to run up.
And he's knocked
out of bounds.
Short of the first down.
You know, and that time you got Jabrian Busby was able to get him to check up, but then he was able to kind of put a little juke move on him and get around him.
That Jabrian, you thought had him about the line of scrimmage.
But then Dravion Cooper came flying across the field and knocked him out. It's going to bring up 4th and about 3.
That was scary because once he got around Busby, he looked like he had enough for the first down, and Cooper come out of nowhere and just hammered him out of bounds.
And it looks like Bullard's going to set up to punt the ball away. You have Holman set back deep, and then they rotate their punt block coverage. Looks like they get ready for the snap. Is back to the punter.
And it's going to be a punt out of bounds.
Straight out of bounds. Looks like he didn't even want to worry about kicking that ball.
Mahia's going to get the ball.
Right.
How are you walking way down there?
That ball
went way out up top.
That ball went out of bounds close to midfield.
They caught the ball out of bounds right there.
That ball went out of bounds close to midfield, and they're marking it at inside the 41 of Mexia. I'm not sure where.
The coach is over there giving the earful right now.
Right, because, I mean, the ball was caught by one of the players over on the sideline about where they spotted the ball. And it looked like that ball went straight out of bounds off of the punter's foot. But Mahale get it starting at their own 41-yard line.
This is their chance to tie the ball game here. Mahia's going to come out with a man up top, man down bottom. You got Proctor in the backfield with Wiley.
Going to be snapped back to Proctor.
Hand off to Wiley.
And he breaks outside. He's got a hold.
30, 40.
And he
fumbles the ball. And Bullard. Mexia gets it at the 24-yard line. That is Trey Holman coming in late to pick the ball up.
That was Holman hustling down the field with his teammate, and he was able to dive on top of the ball and keep possession for Mexia. And the ball will be spotted at the Bullard 23-yard line.
And it's so scary when you fumble in the defensive backfield because usually there's nobody around but defensive players. And Holman come out of nowhere. After the Panthers had a chance to get the ball a couple of times, Holman just come in there and took it. So now Mejia's got the ball at about the 23-yard line of Bullard, looking to go in.
And there's going to be Trey Jones on the run. And he breaks a tackle.
And he's about the 20-yard line.
Yeah, he picks up about a good hard earn, too. And that time they don't give Trey the forward progress as they move him back after he was driven back. And he'll be spotted at the 21-yard line of Bullard.
So Mexia has Clark up top with Holman. They have Deichler in there and Harrison in there tight with Jones in the backfield with Proctor. As we got 7 minutes and 36 seconds left, Black Cats going in to tie the ball game. And it's going to be handoff to Jalen.
Proctor pulls it. And he cuts upfield.
And he's not going anywhere.
No, he didn't have anything on that.
He has got a linebacker eyeing him. That's what they've got to figure out.
Yeah. And that time it looked like
eyeing him, and
that time it looked like if he would have kept going around the outside, he could have outran that guy to the outside, but he cut it up. And there was a little help that came from the inside.
They have two linebackers eyeing Jaden, and he's not going to be able to get outside on those. So, I mean, it's either handoff or we're going to have to throw the ball. I mean, Jaden is a heck of an athlete, but it's hard to beat 1-on-2.
And you got single back set with Proctor in the backfield. Snap back, he rolls to his right. And then he comes back to his left, and he's tackled and gains about 2 yards on the play, but he's brought down. It's going to bring up fourth down. It's going to bring up 4th and about 9 for the Black Cats. And here, if you're the Black Cats, you know the clock's running, so you got to get some points here. You want to keep the chains moving or get in the end zone here on this play. Right now, you can pick up a first down, so you don't have to go for the end zone. You can get a first down and keep your drive alive. It's going to be a snapback. No, he checks with the sideline, gives out the signal. Timeout. Offense, Mexia calls a timeout.
So it's going to be a Black Cat timeout.
As the Black Cats take a timeout, we'll take a timeout along with them. And we'll be back with more fourth quarter action from All right, and we're back here at Longhorn Field with Mexia Black Cat football deep in the fourth quarter. It's 6:08 left on the clock. Mexia's coming out after a timeout, and then they go into shift. Mexia shifts into an alignment. They look, they throw, and it's going to be a pass from Harrison to Holman in the end zone, and it's caught in the end zone. Touchdown, Mexia!
They come out and run a trick play.
And right before that, during the timeout, we talked about how they needed to throw the ball down the field and try to find Harrison or Holman down the field. And that time, Proctor took the snap, threw it out to Harrison, and then Harrison threw it down the field to Holman for the touchdown. So Mexia set up for the extra point. Snap back, kicks
penalty
up.
On the ground.
Kicks good, but there are flags on the field.
You can't have a personal foul here.
And we're going to see what the flag is, but as of now, the kick is good, and it ties the game.
It's good. Dead ball.
Personal foul against Bullard.
And
he's
we got a player ejected.
Somebody threw a punch is what he signaled. And there's been a player ejected, and he signaled it towards the defense side, so that would have been Bullard's side of the field. And now the officials coming to tell the Bullard coaches who it was.
Now this changes the whole situation here, because normally you would be kicking off from your 35.
From your 40 in high school, from the 40. Now you're going to kick off from the other team's 45-yard line. So here, we've been kicking that high bell ringer, and they've been starting just inside the 40. Here, if you run that and you kick it, now you're probably going to get them returning the ball from inside the 10.
So I don't see a player leaving right now, but they did say there was a player ejected for throwing a punch.
Yeah, he signaled a punch to the chest and then signaled an ejection. I don't see who it may have been.
Of course, it was down there in the scrum after the kick. We're watching the ball as it's going through the uprights. But what was strange was there was a penalty right at the snap.
Right. I'm not sure. They didn't even acknowledge the penalty that was thrown at the line. But, yeah, okay, now the official's telling the kicker we're going to move it up because the kicker had set it at the 40-yard line, and now they're marking off the penalty yardage, and it'll be set at the Bullard 45.
So Mexia has fought back in this game after going down by 2 touchdowns in the third quarter. And here in the fourth quarter, Mexia has had 2 big plays and scored 2 touchdowns to tie the ball game 28-28. As Mexia is coming up to the line of scrimmage, Wallace, this has been the Black Cats have kept their cool and stayed in this game and have fought all the way back.
Right, and right here, and we're going to see if we get it. And we get an onside kick attempt, and he touched it early.
He touched it about a half a yard early.
Yeah, and Mexia attempted the onside kick on that one. The ball curved right at the last second instead of carrying straight. So when the player laid out for it, it hit him.
When you say a game of inches, that was pretty much inches right there.
Yeah, and it looks like they sit this ball at about the 35-yard line, 35 and 1 foot yard line.
So now it's time for your defense to come out and have another big stop here and give your offense a chance to go down and win the ball game.
So Bullard actually waves off the penalty, and they're going to take the ball at the 36-yard line, which isn't bad. Even though you get the penalty on that, it pretty much pins them back to where they've been starting from. Now your defense has to make a play and get the ball back for you, as the game is knotted up 28-28 with 5:55 left in the fourth quarter. Now is who's going to have the biggest wheel? The defense gets the stop and gets the ball back to the offense, or Bullard's offense is able to move the ball against the Mexia defense. You got ready for play.
Going to be a
snap back to the quarterback. He
fake.
Pulls it.
And
he's around the edge. And he's met there by a host of Black Cats, and he's driven back.
2-yard gain.
Yeah, he gained they're going to give him about 2, maybe 3 on that one, up to about the 39-yard line, so they'll give him 3.
He checked up and was like, whoa, wait a minute, I'm not used to being hit till about 8 yards down the field.
Yeah, that time Mexia's defense stayed at home, and so when he tried to cut back, they were there, and they were able to drive him back. So that's what we've seen Mexia be able to do these last couple of defensive possessions. We're going to see if they can keep that up and get the Bullard offense off the field once again.
So as they come to the field, we're going to have twins to the bottom, one to the top for Bullard with one running back in the backfield and the up back right behind the line. We got a timeout Bullard. As we're going to go to our sponsor break, we'll be right back.
5:06 left in the fourth quarter, 28-28, Mexia and Bullard. We'll be back in just a second with more Black Cat football.
To Mexia Sports Network. Tonight's game is brought to you by Greer Time Media, Posey Napa Auto Part, Greer and Greer Mobile Detail, Mookie's Mesquite Patch Barbecue, Woodman Life Insurance, and Joe Fridays.
As we come back to the field, we'll get over some scores here in just a minute as we got some shocking scores here for you. Bullard's got 2nd and 7 right here. Black Cat defense is getting up a little tighter. And he's going to roll out.
And he's got Dawson in his
back, but he ain't going to go nowhere. No, it's incomplete.
It's incomplete. You know, in that time, Dawson Scott got up the field, and he forced the quarterback to check up and try to throw that ball quick. And the running back never got turned around good to catch it. It was a short throw, and even if he had caught it, I don't think he was going anywhere because there's about 4 Black Cats standing right around the running back on that play. It's going to bring up 3rd and 7. You know, and if you're the Black Cats, this is where you want to be. You got to get off the field. You have to know that the quarterback has used his legs all game. They're going to probably drop back and look for a pass, and if you can get there and hold it and contain him, that's exactly what you want. And it's going to be the running back just clears out, and there's nobody over there with him.
And he's going to break up the middle, and he's at the 28-yard line.
And that time, nobody picked up the running back out of the backfield.
That was just an easy pitch and catch.
Yeah, and he just threw it over the top, and the running back caught it in stride and got a big gain out of it. So that brings up 1st down. Brings up 1st down for Bullard from the Mexia 28-yard line.
So as Bullard goes
snap back to the quarterback, hand off to the running back.
And he's
hitting the backfield. That's a loss on the play, a loss of about 2 or 3.
So we got some scores here. China Spring is leading Kennedale 50-22. Salato's up 50-16 on Rusk. Fairfield leads 24-21. Cameron Yo's up 49-7. Grandview's winning 35-7. Milford's getting beat 40-24 in a 6-man football game.
And here you're going to get this snap back to the quarterback. He rides it. He pulls it. And he's wrapped up
behind the line. No, right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and that was Dawson Scott, and it looks like Dontavius Davis there on that stop as they brought the quarterback down for no gain. It's going to bring up 3rd and about 13 here on this play. You know, Mexia gave up a big play on the last 3rd down there. You got to check and make sure you're covering all the guys that you have on the field, and then getting back and getting pressure on the quarterback.
And not leaving a running back or something wide open.
If Mexia needs to try to get off the field on this, you got to think that Bullard's in 4-down territory, though. And here he goes
back there on him.
Oh, and it's a throwback.
And it's going to be an interception.
Oh, no, and it's actually caught. No, he knocks it down. It's incomplete.
I thought Frankie Smith had intercepted that ball on 3rd down, and that would have been a huge play for the Black Cats.
And that time you have Frankie Smith and Lamarian Miller both making a play on that ball. And Lamarian Miller's getting up a little slow, but he's good. He's walking off and going back to his safety spot. It's going to bring up 4th and 13. Bullard's offense is on the field looking like they're going to go for it. Got to be smart to snap back. Quarterback looks. Oh, Cooper's there chasing him. Oh, and that should be an illegal block.
And he's going to be tackled short, and it is.
We did. You know, and I think the coaching staff was over there giving that official the blues in his ear. And that flag did come out as
either way, he was stopped short of the line to gain.
Right, and on that play,
you've got
Dravion Cooper was chasing the quarterback, and the lineman just peeled back and hit him.
You've got to take the play right here.
Yeah, you got to take it, and it's Mexia's ball. It's going to be a turnover on downs. Mexia will take over the ball at their own 23-yard line with a chance to go down with 3:06 left in the fourth quarter. Mexia will have a chance to drive the ball and put points on the board to take the lead. And right now, Mejia's riding the wave of the momentum wave right now, and we're going to see if they can keep that momentum up and use that to go out on offense and put points on the board here.
Well, we've got 3 minutes to work with. As you know, we can score quickly.
Right, and right here, you really don't want to score too quickly.
The one thing, though, that Mejia has done tonight that we haven't done all year is we've put the ball on the ground.
Right.
That's we've got to secure it. You've got 3 minutes to work with a couple of timeouts. Let's take our time, make sure the ball's secure, and go score.
Hand off to Wiley.
And
he breaks off the left.
Side,
he makes a cut. He's dipped under a man. He dives out to the 37-yard line.
So the Black Cats on the first play pick up a gain of about 13. No sense in being in any hurry here.
Right. Right now the clock's your friend. You have the ball. You want to take care of the ball, use the clock, and get it down to where you have a chance to put points on the board.
More than anything, double that ball up with both hands and do not fumble it.
And you got to be telling anybody that's carrying the ball, you put both hands over both points of that ball anytime you touch it. And Wiley gets it.
Oh, man, it just, earlier in the game it was them 1 or 2 yards. Now it's starting to be them 5 and 6 yards.
And that time he just hit the defender and spun off of him and seemed like he just kind of body surfed for another 2 yards. It's going to bring up second and about 6.
So the Black Cats have 2 minutes and 20 seconds to work with here. Driving to take the lead for the first time tonight.
It's a high snap and the ball's on the ground. Proctor picks it up, but he's brought down. And that's what you don't want. That's what we've talked about. Mejia, the ball getting down on the turf for Mejia tonight. And it's not been a big problem for him all year, but tonight we've seen it touch the ground several times. And that time the snap was high. Proctor wasn't able to reel it in, and it got down and it put him behind the chains. The defense was able to get there to him and bring him down. It'll bring up third and about 13 here for the Black Cats.
That's about a 7-yard loss on that. You'd like for him to pick that ball up and just throw it out of bounds. I mean, and I know as a player you're wanting to make a play, but, he already had a bad snap. It really looked more he wasn't ready for the snap than it was.
It was just a little high. I'm not sure if it was a run play. You don't want to get a bad penalty. But here he rolls out to his right. He's looking downfield. Oh, and he doesn't have anywhere to go. He reverses field, and he runs into the defender's arms. And right there just – Bullard's going to take a timeout because it brings up fourth down with 1:16 left.
Those plays are so scary when he's running around because he's got that ball out there. He's trying to make a play happen, and all it takes is one person to just reach in there and touch it, and you're in really good field position to go out. And as you know, they have a kicker that can kick the ball really well. Right,
and here if you're Mejia, you just want to – you want to be smart. Your defense has played great these last couple of drives, and here you snap the ball back on fourth and 10, snap it back and look to punt it away and pin them back down in their own territory, and let your defense come out and go to work. With 1:16 left, the game's tied. You don't want to do anything to give them an advantage or a short field with a chance to put points on the board.
Oh yes, you need to make sure you get your blocks up front right here. And this looks
like Mejia's coming out with their offense. So it looks like they're saying that they're gonna go and try to get a first down here on this play. Unless they're gonna try to quick kick it, which may be what they do, and they're gonna shift into an off alignment.
How?
And Bullard calls timeout.
Man, Mejia easily could have got a penalty right there.
Right, because it looked like Wiley
moved to go forward, and they really didn't call it. They turned back around and looked.
Well, I think Bullard was calling timeout right as he did it, so they called the timeout for Bullard.
What Mejia was able to do there, which is really important,
is they made them burn a timeout.
They made them burn their last timeout.
Right.
So you didn't have a play between the first timeout and the second timeout. So now Mejia has brought the punt team out because they've made Bullard
use their last timeout. So now they'll punt the ball away, and then Bullard will have to try to make something happen with no timeouts on the board for them.
And Bullard's going to put 2 people back.
And Sandoval's talking to his punter right now as he sends Hullum out to punt the ball. Right here, you want to make sure everything's on point, from the snap to the catch to to the hold and the punt off of the kicker's foot.
Hold 'em. If you got a 60-yarder in you, Bubba,
Right.
this is the time to launch it.
This is the time to pull out and he's a left-footed punter, and I played with a good one, and it's time to pull a Daniel Sepulveda out and flip the field completely, pin him inside their 10-yard line.
He was a Ray Guy winner at Baylor, wasn't he not?
Two-time Ray Guy winner. You know, and
you think I don't know nothing about Baylor?
I'm surprised you mentioned that name with the game that we got coming up tomorrow. But the Black Hats are lined up on the field.
No worries.
In their punt formation. Going to be a snap back.
Good snap. Hold him. Gets his best kick of the night.
And it's going to take him a half bounce.
And
it bounces and rolls all the way down to the Bullard 22-yard line.
Now,
so that was a great punt by Holum.
Now we have 1:05 left. Bullard has no timeouts, and we have a tie ball game, 28-28 in the fourth quarter.
Bullard has to go 78 yards for a touchdown.
I want to tell you Black Cat fans out there.
Or try to get it into field goal range, but we see that their kicker did have a big leg, so if you're Mexia and you're that defense, you want to get back there and not let them get any yards.
If you didn't make this trip to Cedar Hill to watch this football game tonight, you've missed out on one of probably the best games we've had this year. This has been a back-and-forth game. The Black Cats did get down. They fought all the way back, and now they've got a chance to stop it right here on defense and get the ball back.
They're going to get trips to the top, singles receiver down bottom, pistol formation in the backfield, snap back to the quarterback. He drops and he looks, and he's flushed out to the right, and he got Cooper over there, and Cooper drives him out of bounds. And they run over. There's a penalty. They ran over the flags on the sideline, and it took both of them down. And they tripped over the flags, and then a penalty came out. It wasn't that the defender tackled him. They ran into the flags and both fell over it.
Foul, I'm telling you.
You know, and that's a terrible call by the official, because both players are running out of bounds, and he touches him and pushes him in the field to play, and they both their momentum carries them out of bounds, and they trip over the chains. And you're going to get a personal foul call against Mexia on that, which will give Bullard 15 yards, which is very questionable, if you ask me. You're playing on that fine line. They were both upright going across the sideline, and then they hit the chains and the first down marker, and they both fell over it.
Once again, it's a 15-yard penalty that hurts Mexia, and that's
right.
what's hurt Mexia all year long.
And so right here, if you're Mexia, you got to get a stop. You can't let them you don't want them to get any more yardage on this drive, because that actually stopped the clock as well. It's going to be a snap back. And it's a swing pass.
And that's going to be a stop by Busby.
Great job by Jabron Busby, as he made a great open field tackle.
That's the play.
He read that swing pass, and he came up and met the running back as soon as he caught it.
That's the play that they had such a big gain on earlier, and Busby was right there just to hit him right as he caught the football.
Snap back. Quarterback rolls out to his left, and the defense is looking. And he's out of bounds. No. That ball's out of bounds. He's not going to catch the ball.
Well, the thing is it was uncatchable.
He threw the ball out of bounds. He wasn't going to be able to make a play on it.
Well, it's just a 10-yard penalty, though.
No, it's a 15-yard penalty.
So
that's not what you need if you're the Black Hats.
Well, the thing is Trey did push him.
Yeah, he did push him.
However, the ball was thrown out of bounds. So, I mean.
And it stops the clock at 29 seconds, and he's going to move Bullard into Mexia territory. And, and we talked about it earlier. Their kicker has a big leg. You don't want to give them any extra yardage, because now you're putting them closer and closer to their field goal range. Right here, if you're Mexia, you need to stop. You don't need to give up any more yardage.
So you need to get Scott or AK back there.
And you got a hold out here on the edge.
And that's Scott. He's going to be taken down for a sack.
And just as we said it, Dawson Scott comes off of that left end spot and brings him down and sacks him.
Look here, guys. Get up here.
Bullard's trying to snap it quick. Mexia gets lined up, and they're going to clock it. They're going to stop the play with 12 yards.
2-yard loss.
With 12 seconds. Yeah, it's going to bring up third and about 13 here for Bullard, a long 13 for Bullard.
In high school, do you not lose yardage for that?
No, it's just an incomplete pass. So here you get Mexia set up on defense. Bullard surveying the field. He claps and snap back to the quarterback. He drops back to
and
throw.
Here's Cooper hitting
Cooper's in the middle. Oh, and he overthrows.
And that was a wide receiver wide open for the.
And you can chalk that up to the pressure by Cooper because he looked up and saw Cooper come bearing down on him right in his face, and the quarterback just let go of that ball to keep from getting hit.
So we got 6 seconds here before we go to overtime unless you can. Bullard's going to throw to the end zone right here.
Right, and you got to be smart if you're the Black Hats. You have to defend it. You got to knock it down. First of all, you have to get pressure on the quarterback. You cannot give the quarterback time to survey the field and get it back there.
And
it's an incomplete
so that's
pass.
going to leave 2 seconds left for Mexia.
And Mexia will get the ball with 2 seconds on the clock. And a chance.
I'm not really for sure why you run that play because
I'm not either.
Even if he catches it,
he doesn't get anywhere. It's going to be it wasn't enough for a first down. So if he lays out and catches that ball, it's still going to be a turnover on down.
Right here, Mexia has one last chance in regulation.
And they're going to be at the Mexia 46. And we've seen Proctor throw the ball pretty good this year. It wouldn't be out of the mind to see him try to throw a deep Hail Mary down the field and see if they can get in the end zone. So
we're going to be real interesting to see.
We're going to see what Mexia does here. Maybe they take a chance and try to go get points to win the game here and see what they can do.
You've got to put your tall guys out there and your guys that
right.
can catch it. Because here's the thing. Let's just say you throw it down there and you do go to catch it at the 15 or the 10, and they call a penalty, so you move the ball up 15 yards. Now that gives you a chance to get in the end zone.
Right.
And Mejia's taking a long time over there. It looks like they're going to use a timeout.
Yeah, they're going to use all the time on this play clock, and then they're going to call timeout.
As they have 2 timeouts left. So
and they call this timeout. They're going to talk about it a little bit more and get together what they want to do. And that's a good decision by the coaching staff over there is to try to talk about this, take a chance. You got 2 seconds left in the playoff game to try to get points on the board. Talk about it, get together exactly what you want to do, and then go out and try to execute it the way you drew it up. Right here, this is that moment you live for. As a kid, you're out in the backyard or in the lot next to in the neighborhood, and you're drawing up plays in the grass or in the dirt, and in your head, somebody's over there counting out loud, 3, 2, 1, and you're trying to throw Hail Marys and throw big plays to score. And now Mexia finds themselves in that position with a chance to do that.
This has been a time Wallace and I walked up to Coach Watson and said, I'm open all the time, Coach. Throw me the ball.
When you're a receiver, that's what you're telling. You're telling the head coach that, the offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, receiver coach, the quarterback himself. Throw me the ball. I want the ball.
I was lucky enough that year that I earned a lot of respect from my coaches and Justin, and that's the way. And
Mexia just runs swinging gate there. Oh. And they have some blockers.
And he stayed up, and he almost run that down.
And then the ball's down there.
That was a heck of a play.
Yeah, and they just came out in the old traditional swinging gate formation. Holman came over and lined up in center.
I don't know if you've seen that, but I watched a lot of football. And Wiley had Trey Jones right behind him, I believe is who that was. If he would have pitched it back, he'd have went down the sideline, and Mexia would have ended this game in regulation off of a trick play that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and they had a chance. What happened there is what really happened is the line did such a good job of blocking that they knocked one of the defenders down, pancaked him, and they pancaked him so fast that when Wiley came up behind him, he was able to get back up and kind of reach out and grab him. But, he wasn't able to get into the end zone there, so we'll go to overtime.
We're going to take a sponsor break, and Wallace High and Jeremy Sunday will be back to take you to Black Cat Timeout, our overtime football.
You're listening to Mexia Sports Network. Tonight's game is brought to you by Greer Time Media, Posey Napa Auto Part, Greer and Greer Mobile Detail, Mookie's Mesquite Patch Barbecue, Woodman Life Insurance, and Joe Fridays.
All right, and we're back at Longhorn Field here in Cedar Hill, Texas, with Mexia Black Hat football. It's the Black Hats versus the Bullard Panthers, and we have a 28-28 game here at the end of regulation. So it's going to be overtime play. Get a little extra action here in the first round of the playoffs with the Black Hats.
Right. You know, Wallace, I'm glad Freddie's got deep pockets. He can pay some overtime tonight.
Right. You know, and right here you're looking at Mexia. Mexia will get the ball first in overtime. And they're going to start at the 25. We're going to be going from north to south, our left to our right. And Mexia will trot out their offense. They'll get their first crack at it and try to put points on the board. In high school overtime rules, each team will get a possession. They'll get a chance. And if Mexia is able to score, Bullard would have to match that score or go up and take a lead to win the game. If neither team score or both teams scored, we'll go to a second overtime.
So Mexia comes up with a man to the top, a man to the bottom, two tight ends. And it's going to be handed off to Wiley up the middle. He makes a couple of people miss, and he gets a 9-yard gain on first down.
Yeah, and that's a great first down run there by Wiley. That puts you way ahead of the chains.
This is when Mexia's offense is at its best,
right.
Wallace.
You know, they got the momentum. They're riding a wave right now, and it's the late in the game. That big offensive line starts to wear on you. Wiley keeps running as he gets stronger over the game. And right now, let's see what they're going to do as Proctor lines his offense up, sends a man in motion. It's going to be a snap back to Proctor, handoff to Wiley up the middle. He slips, but he picks up enough yardage for the first down.
They're going to mark him a yard back from where he got tackled.
This line judge is not –
he's not a friend of the Black Cats.
No. His foot slipped, and then he dove out. Before he hit the ground, he dove out probably another yard and a half. And the top line judge marked him there, but the bottom judge moved him back about a yard and a half and put it down. But the ball will be down at the Bullard 19 or 14-yard line.
So Mexia has a new running back come in. That's Dravion Cooper.
Yeah, and it'll be first and 10 from the 14.
As Mexia comes to the line, Cooper's in the backfield with Proctor, and that's going to be Holman on the move.
Going to be a handoff to Cooper,
and
he jumps and makes a man miss.
And he's he's
still running. He dives in for a touchdown.
That is just an amazing run by Cooper, being a senior, saying, I'm not going down.
You know, and we know he runs the ball because he's been a running back for the past 3 years for Mexia. This year, being the captain of the defense, he's played a lot of defense. He's only ran it a few times. But that time, he was able – there's a man in the backfield on him, and he just jump cut him and then skipped and juked a couple more men in the hole, and then he just put his shoulders down and was too strong to be brought down before he dove into the end zone.
Kicks up. all-important kick is good, and
So-
that puts the Cats up by 7.
And Mexia takes the lead on their first possession. So here you'll get Bullard will get a chance at a possession themselves. Mexia's on top 35-28.
Well, I think what really happened on that was key to that right there was Bullard knew that the top running back went out.
Right.
So when Holman come on his release to come in motion, I think Bullard thought that he were going to hand it to Holman because everybody went outside. Well, instead he handed it to Cooper up the middle. Cooper made a couple. Couple miss, and then he just rumbled in. He wasn't going to be denied. So Mexia comes up to the line of scrimmage. Bullard has 3 to the top, 1 to the bottom. And the quarterback
keeps it.
And he once again gets outside.
Oh, but he's chopped down there by J.B. Busby.
He gains about 7 on that.
Yeah. You know, in that time, he was able to get outside the end man on the line. And right now you have to know he's dangerous with his feet, so you have to hold containment. That end man has to play up the field and keep everything inside, funnel it inside.
I think Busby got caught on the fake of coming inside as well. So now it brings up a 3rd and 3. They have a running back in the back, and it's just going to be
quarterback power.
Got caught inside again.
And that's the defensive end. He's going pinching down on these plays, and he's getting caught inside. You know, if you're and it looks like we're gonna get a change here on the defense's front. You know, if you're on defense, you got to be telling him. You know, right now we're not rushing to try to get to the quarterback to sack him. We're trying to contain so that we can get tackles to limit yardage.
So now Bullard's at about the 6-yard line of the Black Cats.
There's going to be a handoff.
And BJ Sunday makes a big tackle at the 9-yard line.
It's going to be about a 2-yard loss on that play. As BJ actually read that play very well. He stayed at home and he penetrated.
That was a big play by BJ Sunday.
He came upfield and he met the runner in the backfield that time, and he was able to bring him down before he could cross the line of scrimmage. And Mexia's going to line up again. On defense, they got trips to the top, twins to the bottom, single on quarterback by himself. Oh, and Mexia brings pressure.
And it's going to be a touchdown catch by Bullard.
Yeah, and he just ran a nice little slant route inside the defensive back, and the defensive back wasn't able to cross his face and kick and stay up with him.
So if you're Bullard, you come in as an underdog. You go for 2 here.
You're playing with house money. You may take a chance and go for 2 and try to win the game here. Looks like they're going to call a timeout and talk about it. You know, this is a situation where your seniors on the team are probably wanting to tell the coach, hey, let's go for 2. The coaches have either got to decide, do I kick a field goal and tie the game up and go to a second overtime, or do we go for 2 and try to win it here? As Mexia, you're on the sideline and you're saying, we got to come out and be ready for whatever. Even if they line up in a field goal, you got to be ready for a fake field goal and thinking they may take an attempt to try to get 2. And you just have to go and try to get a stop, even if they're going for 2.
I'm thinking by the way they look down there, they're going to come out and go for 2.
Yeah, I see. They're trying to get their sideline up, and you got players coming off the field out of the huddle, swinging their hands up and bouncing. So it looks like they're going for 2. Mexia's going to have to come out and match it and see what they're lined up in and try to keep them from getting it.
So here's the play of the game. If Mexia stops, they win. If Bullard scores here, they're going to win. So it's all coming down to a 2-point conversion here.
You got trips tight down to the bottom of the field, and you got to be smart because they have a tight end, it looks like, over here, and Mexia's going to call a timeout as they saw the way that Bullard came out to line up. They're going to call a timeout and go over and discuss with the defense and the coaches and see if they can match up with what they're expecting to see. Right here, Jeremy, you got to expect that the quarterback's going to try to make the play. You got to key on him. You got to get pressure. You got to get in the backfield.
He's been their playmaker all night. Why take it away from him right here?
And you have to contain him and not let him get up the field. And if he does throw it, as a cornerback right here, you got to man up and you got to say, I'm not going to let my receiver beat me on a route and get open. And you're going to have to latch onto him and play him right in his pocket and be ready to knock the ball down and defend the pass if it comes.
Well, as we get out here, there's no timeouts left.
No.
Neither team has a timeout. It's going to have to be up to this play right here.
Right. It's 35-34. Mexia. Bullard's going to go for 2, and they're going to try to win this game. The ball is set at the 3-yard line.
So
Bullard's trying to get their fans into it. They're set up in their trips tight to the bottom of the field again. Quarterback's in the back with a single back beside him. He snaps it.
Snap back.
Slow
and
snap.
he's just going to run up the middle, and
Oh,
he's going to be
stopped.
stopped.
He stopped short.
He didn't make
And
it, and
Mahea's
the Black Cats
win.
win tonight.
And that's a great stop by Dravion Cooper as he stayed home at his linebacker spot, and he came up and met the quarterback and turned him around and denied him from getting across the goal line.
The Mexia Black Cats have survived round one. They went 1-0 tonight, as their coaches said that's what they wanted to do this week was 1-0. Hard-fought game. They fought back, stopped the two-point conversion, and won 35-34.
You know, it wasn't pretty, but sometimes you need those ugly ones. And a win is a win, especially when you get in the playoffs. And Mexia, they fight and they survive to play another week. And hats off to the Bullard team and those players because they came out and they played a heck of a game. They fought hard all game.
And it looked like when the Red Sea parted, he had an easy walk-in.
And Cooper just took that one recovery step and came down and met him right about the 2-yard line. And as the quarterback tried to spin off of him, Cooper just grabbed a hold of him, yanked him back, and threw him down to the ground at about the 1.
So the Black Cats come to Cedar Hill, Texas, and play the Bullard Panthers. Hard-fought ball game. Bullard led most of the ball game. In fact, Mexia didn't take their first lead until overtime.
Yeah, and Mexia fought back. They were 14 down there in the second. Actually, going into the fourth quarter, they were down 14, and they were able to get 2 touchdowns on some big plays there in the fourth quarter. And we talked about it in the first half. It seemed like the Mexia defense was back on their heels. They couldn't figure out what Bullard was doing, and they were playing a step too slow. Well, as that second half went on, the defense kind of figured it out. They figured out what was going on, and they started playing downhill and playing fast, getting in the backfield, making some big plays, and that seemed to be the turn.
I want to give my hats off to Bullard. They come out and played one heck of a ball game.
Right, yes, they did. And we weren't able to give you many numbers because we couldn't see it, but the quarterback from Bullard came out and he played a great game, and so did several of their other players. But Mexia was able to to hang on, to come back, fight back, and then hang on to it there in the end, get the victory. So they will live to play another game. They say the Cats have 9 lives.
Well,
I
the most
think
important
may have
thing
used one tonight.
In those championship years, you see some things that are really special. And tonight, Mexia didn't play their best ball, but yet they were able to pull it out.
Right.
They put the ball on the ground a lot. They dropped a couple of passes they normally don't drop. But yet, when it come to the end, championship defense came up, and Mexia was able to pull it out. So we're going to wrap this one up as the Black Cats. But, Wallace, we ain't talked about it tonight. The Black Cats pulled this one off. Heck of a start to our weekend on Friday night. Black Cats winning. But one of us tomorrow night on Saturday night is going to be really upset when it comes to about this time tomorrow night.
Right, So
I'm going to keep Wallace on speed dial tomorrow and hope he doesn't have to call me near as many times as I call him.
Me and Freddie have already said, he said, after we wrap it up tonight and we load everything up in the cars, we're not friends until Sunday morning. So,
well, I'm going to be your friend. I just don't want you to get mad at me if I have to text you more tomorrow like, hey, I'll say about 3 o'clock tomorrow, I-35 is going to have a special team coming down from the north, and that's going to be the Oklahoma Sooners are coming into town to face Baylor. It's had an awesome season. I want to give my hats off to the Baylor Bears. They've played a really good season. They're 9-0. But as we said the other night, Big Brother of the Big 12 is coming down, and if Baylor beats us and knocks us off, I will be rooting for Baylor the rest of the year until the Big 12 championship if that's who we play. But I will root for Baylor the rest of the year. I've always liked Baylor. I remember back when Grant Taft coached Baylor. It might have been before your time, Wallace. I may be telling my age here. But, man, it was so exciting when Baylor would go to, like, the Bluebonnet Bowl or something because Grant Taft was just an awesome coach. And I've always liked Baylor, went to Baylor games as a little kid. But I grew up an OU fan. My granddad, I was the oldest grandchild out of 18 and the only boy till number 19. So it was all Jeremy and Grandpa, and it was OU, 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 OU. So that's how I grew up. I was born in Elk City, Oklahoma. Moved here when I was little. But OU's how is what I grew up knowing. And, of course, when you get around here with – and you being a Baylor Bear fan, you get around here with these Aggie fans and these Longhorn fans, you know, you just don't want to root for their team sometimes with as obnoxious
Right.
as they get. Because they've had good years in the past.
Right.
But, man, it's been fun again. Black Cats have wrapped up a 35-34 comeback win here at Longhorn Stadium in Cedar Hill, Texas. Wallace, thank you for doing it with us again, and we'll be back at Joe Fridays on Wednesday.
Yeah. We'll have our coaches show and our prediction show on Wednesday, and then we'll be getting ready to travel wherever they decide to set this next game.
We had talked
next
earlier
week.
if Sunnyvale won, it's going to be maybe Waxahachie, Corsicana area. So we'll let you know in the next couple of days. It'll be out on Facebook. But thank you, Black Cat fans, for listening to us tonight. We'll be back next week at the same Black Cat time. Black Cat Playoff Football 2019.
To Mexia Sports Network. Tonight's game is brought to you by Greer Time Media, Posey Napa Auto Park, Greer & Greer Mobile Detail, Mookie's Mesquite Patch Barbecue, Woodman Life Insurance, and Joe Fridays.